All right. Hello, welcome everybody to another Boxing Podcast, morning edition for everybody out there. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. This is your host, Mr. BDA, and I'm sure I'm glad. That's right, sure I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we got a fantastic one for you. There's a lot of things going on in the boxing world, a lot of he said, she said, a lot of moving parts, a lot of players about. And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the fact that I'm surprised a lot of people are calling out Shakur Stevenson on Twitter for doing so much talking, so much jawing, so much yapping, and then not delivering in the ring. Particularly as it pertains to him saying he doesn't need rehydration clauses. Now all of a sudden he's demanding a dehydration clause. We're going to talk about that. Also sticking to the weight issue. It's been a weighty issue, if you could say that. David Benavidez talking about how much weight he has to cut, something we already knew, but for some reason it's starting to pick up steam on Twitter. And many more things to come. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so with the Super Chat feature. You can join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. Special emojis, badges, the whole shebang. You can also join the Patreon. You can also donate via Buy Me a Coffee app. Link in the description below. But the most important thing is that you continue to like, you subscribe, and you spread that BDA gospel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Speaking of the gospel, we got Snackford, Two Matador, Desperado, Kuka Burr. Who else we got here? Adam Hurley, Langsbury, Green Reaper. We got the Zufaru. That's Carl. Shout out to the Zufaru. Jayo Bataya. That's right. Jayo Bataya.
The Gold Coast Convention Centre.
The Convention Centre.
Ringside. Gold Coast Convention Centre.
Shout out to everybody out there. Skull Kid. Shout out to him. Many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. It's another edition of the morning show. Hopefully you guys got your coffee ready, your tea, helping you through the morning here. Sit back, relax, get yourself a snack, some breakfast, and we're going to talk some boxing here. Because again, things start to pick up in the weekend sometimes. So you got to do these early morning Monday shows to sort of catch up with everything that happened. Now, before we start with what is going on, the drama on Twitter and that type of, good, spicy stuff, I got to talk about some of the things, some of the fights that took place this Saturday. Now, I didn't catch all of it. I've yet to catch all of it, so forgive me if I only talk about this in a tangential sort of surface level manner, but Lester Martinez ended up scoring a win on Pro Box, and it was for an interim strap of some sort over in the super middleweight division. So Lester Martinez, who is 30 years old, by the way, kind of an old prospect there, defeated Emmanuel Aleem. Scores were 118-110, 119-109, and 120-108. So about technically one card was a whitewash, and the other one's almost a whitewash. So Martinez improves to 20-0 with one draw. That draw being against Christian Mbili, which some people felt is a fight that Lester Martinez should have won, but nevertheless, it's a draw, and he's got 16 being big knockouts. No big knockout this Saturday, though. I managed to catch the last 3 rounds and some rounds here and there because I was more interested in the Adames fight. But Martinez didn't look all that hot against Emmanuel Aleem. Now, for those of you that don't know, Aleem is a quick-handed boxer. I'd seen him fight I'd seen his YouTube fights prior to this one. And I said, you know what, this guy's got some skills. He's got hand speed. I think he could give Lester Martinez a couple of rounds because Martinez has been looking heavy-handed in the last couple of fights. Well, in this one, again, I didn't see all of it, but it didn't seem like his power was there. And then on top of that, I was on Discord reading comments as these fights unfolded simultaneously, the Adames fight and then the Lester Martinez fight. People were saying that Martinez wasn't looking all that good. His power didn't seem to be there. And then on top of that, at some point late in the fight, he started getting tired and he got stunned. So who knows what's going on there? And again, I have to watch it. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. But there was a lot of talk of Martinez beating Canelo, being the next big thing. I'm thinking, look, whether you think he won the Mbili fight or not, it was still a draw. Now, granted, Mbili is a tough guy for almost anybody because of his style, the fact that he jumps on people, he never stops throwing. But then again, a one-handed, one-armed Sergey Davidachenko gave him the business. Don't forget what Gongora did to him too, hurting him twice. Now, of course, then Billy showed hard in that one, putting on the pressure and hurting Gongora late. But again, I really don't know where I fall with Martinez here. I know he's got the Bomac effect. Bomac, because of his work with Terence Crawford, a lot of people are jumping on his bandwagon, thinking that he can work his magic on just about anybody. But of course, that doesn't seem to be the case. Keyshawn Davis already dropped out of the Bomac sweepstakes. So now they got Martinez, and who else? Who else is there with Bomac? So it seems like Bomac is going to get that Reynoso and Virgil Hunter effect, where people have, they have a one pound for pound fighter, and so everybody thinks, whoa, he can work his alchemy on me. And then it turns out, no, he really can't. By the way, I think I've said it before, but do you really want to be in the same gym and trained by a guy who's close to 300 pounds and just sits around screaming at people? I mean, it's not exactly the greatest example. And I've said the same thing about Reynoso, except that Bomac is on another level. Oh, yes, he's on another level, on another weight level, if you know what I mean. So, I don't know. I don't know where I fall on this. I think people were prematurely writing off Canelo and maybe writing in Lester Martinez. Again, he looked tired. And that's the other thing that people were complaining about. Apparently, in this fight, Pro Box, they took their sweet-ass time in starting the main event. People were waiting around. Meanwhile, the Adames fight was up and running, and these people, they're still, panning to the crowd, waving the Guatemalan flags. I'm thinking, what's going on here? On top of that, I saw that they have 3 expert analysts now on the scene calling the fight. They got Robert Garcia, they got Chris Algieri, and they got Paulie Malignaggi. I think that's I like those guys, but I think that's a bit of an overload when it comes to commentary, expert commentary. The way it's always been done, and maybe that's not the way it should be done, but the way it was done was color commentator, expert commentator, and the blow-by-blow guy. Now they got 3 expert commentators. I don't know if that's a little bit of an overkill. Maybe that's how they're trying to differentiate themselves from the rest of the telecast. I don't know. Maybe it worked. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole fight, so I can't tell you whether it did or not. The other thing is, apparently, like I said, they took their sweet-ass time in starting the event, and some people were saying that it was because Bomac was watching the Nebraska versus somebody else college game or something. I don't know. I don't watch college games or college sports, so I don't know if that's true. But if it was, it seems like a bit of a slight to the people who showed up and paid money to watch this fight, because now you're going to make them wait because one guy wants to watch a game. Again, I don't know if that was true or not, but whatever. Somebody in the Discord joked that the first interim title fight Pro Box had, so they didn't know how to react. They were trying to milk it. I don't know. Again, I don't think so because it's not pay-per-view. It's free. Pro Box most of the time delivers the big fights. And the entertaining fights for bargain prices. So you can't criticize. It's difficult for me to criticize Pro Box too much, but nevertheless, like I said, they took a lot of time to start that main event. What are people in the chat saying here? We got Food TV. Shout out to the real Food TV. Go check him out on the YouTube. He says Mac looks to be close to 500 pounds. I don't know if he's that heavy, but more than 300 pounds. He says, all right. Desperado says picking up MMA rejects for commentary is never a good sign. He's talking about Goldberg, who's doing what's his name? Mike Goldberg, who used to do the UFC commentary. And by the way, apparently the way he got fired there was not all that great. Shout out to Marty McSly for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Marty. I don't know why I didn't get the alert there, but shout out to Marty. And he says, your polls are attracting more racially grieved American boxing fans than a coastal city HR department. I feel like you know it. I have noticed that a little bit, Marty. I have done that. And look, listen, we like diversity. We keep telling people, but they don't believe us for some reason, that this channel is all about diversity. It's all about peace and love, and it's all about letting people say what they want to say, as long as it falls within YouTube's guidelines, because, we don't want to get in trouble. But, if it were up to us, we'd allow people to say everything they have on their mind. But unfortunately, we can't allow that for everybody out there because of, like I said, YouTube guidelines. But, when it comes to me, I'm as honest as it gets. And I do try to circumvent the YouTube guidelines sometimes. Don't tell that to them. But, this channel is all about giving people a voice. Giving the people a voice. So, whatever it is, man. What else was I going to say? So that's the Lester Martinez thing. What else are people saying? Shout out to Team Batman Boxing. Shout out to Team Batman Boxing. Says, morning, fellas. Right back at you. Desperado says, Lester Martinez is good, but no power. You know what? It does remain to be seen how much power he has, because against Mbili, we didn't really see it, but then again, that's Mbili, very tough guy. Then against this guy, Aleem, he just couldn't seem to put a dent in him. In fact, the only guy that I saw, again, I didn't see the whole fight, but the only guy that I saw compromised in some way was Lester Martinez. He appeared tired. He appeared maybe a little bit stunned by a shot there. Maybe because he was tired. I don't know. Snackford says Mo Lester Martinez wasn't impressive at all. Sufaru says, I actually like the fight. Okay, there you go. And Carl will tell you whether he likes something or not. So if he liked it, then maybe it wasn't that bad. Skull Kid says Martinez looked average. Snack versus Mo Lester. What are you calling him Mo Lester? Needs more Crawford snack PEDs. I don't know if you noticed there, but Crawford wasn't looking all that good physically. So like I said, when you get off that snack, probably that's what happens. The Turk says that I need those politicians you keep like so many nickels and dimes. He says the Big Mac is good for helping fighters making weight because he keeps eating all their food. We got a bunch of people being a little rough against the Bomac there. Leave Bomac alone. Bomac keeps the grease in his belly button. Shout out to Earl. What did I tell you about the people there? Pancho Villa says the more commentators, the easier it is to manipulate ignorant fans. Well, that's one way of looking at it. That's the propaganda view, the Jacques Ellul view. Food TV says we need wrestler Goldberg to pick up Bomac and slam him in the center of that squared circle. Langsbury says agreed, good fight. Well, there you go. Some people find that interesting. Some people find it entertaining, and that's good. That's good. It's always good to see the glass half full. Now, the other fight on this docket. Oh, and by the way, there was a woman. I forgot her name. On the other Provox event. I think was it this one or the one they had last week? She's in a coma, medically induced coma. So that's how rough these fights can be, man. This is boxing. This is what these people signed up for. I have sympathy for them, but it's for people that every time that happens, people start questioning, wow, should boxing be legal? Yes, it should be. Because these people know the risk. I mean, what else? Are we going to outlaw crab fishing? Are we going to outlaw people climbing up radio and TV towers because they got to repair them? I mean, the world is dangerous out there, and some people choose to do the dangerous work. The best we can do is make sure that they get decent pay for what they do, pay that's commensurate to that, especially to the ones that take big risks, not the bankfoot bitches, and hope for the best. But we're never going to be able to, I don't think, unless some new medical advance miracle comes out, I think you can only minimize this type of damage and not necessarily eliminate it all the way through. And that's a shame, but it is what it is. The other thing I wanted to bring up, again, like I said, Saturday we had another fight, and that was Carlos Adames in the middleweight division defeating Austin Amo Williams. I always forget his first name. That's why I hesitated there. Austin Amo Williams ends up winning a wide decision and retains he's got the WBC title. All right. So Adames improves to 25-1-1 with 18 knockouts after decisioning what ended up being a tougher than expected Austin Williams. And I say tougher because he had a lot of moxie in there. He started the first round trying to push Adames back, and I like that move. I like the fact that Austin Williams talked a big game and tried to live up to it, although try as he could, he never actually managed to come close to winning the fight. Scores were 118-108 and two cards of 117-109. Adames managed to drop Williams in the second round with a beautiful double right hand, but was later deducted a point in the last round for low blows. So he wasn't a complete whitewash on the cards, but close to it. Adames ended up landing, according to CopyBox, and this is a significant statistic if it is accurate, 254 shots. But again, the CopyBox and the scorecards don't necessarily reflect that there were some holes in Adames' game here, and that is, I don't know how to say it, but it was a dominant performance, but also a shaky one, because he ended up getting caught with some flush counter shots. At some point in the fight, he started dropping his hands, playing around. He kept eating jabs, southpaw jabs. And again, Williams, and you saw his inexperience there. In the last 4 or 5 rounds, he would start out the round strong, letting his hands go, and then he would get tired. And that's something that Paulie Malignaggi once said. He said, I'd rather end the round strongly than start it strongly. Because you start out the round strongly, but then guess what? Now you got to recoup. And that's the amateurish mistake that Williams kept making. Letting his hands go when he should have been a little bit more judicious with his output and his energy, and then try to steal the round. But again, that's his inexperience right there. And Adames was hurting Williams to the body. But he abandoned the body shots for some reason. Makes me wonder whether Adames' stamina is all that. But also, in a smaller venue, you got to hear those booming body shots of his. And I said, now I realize why Hamza Shiraz and his energy level really went down after the fifth round when he fought Carlos Adames, because those are some booming body shots that Adames throws. He was actually more consistent with those body shots against the taller, more dangerous Shiraz than he was against Amo Williams. I don't know why. Did he get distracted? Did he think that because of that second rack knockdown, did he get the impression that, well, I can hurt him upstairs, so I'm going to just try to recreate that? He gets stuck in that loop. I don't know why. What do you guys think? Do you think Adames' stamina is a little bit faulty here? Curious to get your thoughts on that. And now we've got Carlos Adames. Like I said, it was an interesting performance. I don't know why Ismael Salas there didn't really pressure him to go to the body more. I think I heard some people screaming in the corner, get him, during the fight, but never really materialized. And then on top of that, doesn't stop the guy, but he's got the goal to do the Masonic sign there, the shish sign. See that? I don't know what's up with that. But I was thinking, wow, Yoenli Hernandez, the strong Cuban undefeated fighter, is going to be fighting this Saturday on the Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman undercard. And I said, okay, it's a good fight to make, because if you look at the 160-pound rankings, you get Yoenli Hernandez, you get Erislandy Lara, believe it or not, and that's pretty much it. You got Conor Benn, rated number 6, I believe, or 5 in the division, along with Chris Eubank Jr. So, as you can tell, it's a bit of a barren wasteland there, the middleweight division. But I was thinking, okay, maybe Adames versus Yoenli Hernandez. That could be a good one, right? Well, not too fast there, Sailor. This is what Adames had to say about Hernandez. He said, there's levels to this game, and I'm way above him. He's not at that level yet to even be mentioned with me. And I'm thinking, all right, Adames, all right. Sounds like he's getting a little bit too big for his britches there, or britches, whatever they call it, because he's not a star. He's a good fighter. He's got a good dossier at this point. If you look at his wins, he's got wins over, Davidchenko. He's got a win over Montiel, who a year before that, in 2021, had given Jamal Charlo hell. A lot of people feel he had deferred the decision. Meanwhile, Adames destroyed Montiel. Adames also beat Julian Williams, managed to stop him in a very controversial win, but he did manage to stop him. Terrell Gaucher. And now he's got a win over Amo Williams. Again, not exactly the biggest wins, but probably the best dossier at 160 pounds right now, other than Erislandy Lara, who actually hasn't really competed at 160 pounds that much, if memory serves me correctly. So the point is that for Adames to be saying that, I don't know if he's just talking smack, but actually then the other piece of the puzzle ended up falling in there, because Adames then was asked about Hamza Shiraz, the guy that a lot of people feel Adames was robbed against last year over at Riyadh. And for some reason, this article is not showing up. Oh, actually, yeah, I know why not. But they asked him about Shiraz, obviously, and Adames had this to say about Shiraz. Again, like I said, Adames has a little bit of an edge to him, a little bit of arrogance. He says, it's on Shiraz to seek a rematch. It's him that should want one with me. I was the one who beat him. If he wants vengeance, then he should send me the offer. So I said, what is he talking about now? Now he's going a little nuts here. He's talking about how Hernandez is a level below him, which is true, but I mean, it's what you get in the middleweight division. I mean, Janibek now, he's done so for the moment. He's going to come back when people forget all about the PED test there, but until then, it's Yoenli Hernandez or Erislandy Lara or somebody. Well, not so fast, because yesterday at 5:35 p.m., that's a Saturday yesterday, by the way, Adames said Sunday. Adames said he's taking over the 168-pound division. Check this out. He tweeted out, tell 168 that the Bronco horse has arrived. There were many names that ran from 160 and moved up in weight, but now I'm going to catch up to them. So there you go. It seems as if he's going to be moving up to 168, and I can't really blame him, because, like I said, what is there 160? Conor Benn, I don't think he's going to continue campaigning at 160. Chris Eubank Jr. might be a big name in England, but who knows how big a name he could be. I mean, he's probably going to want a tune-up before he fights that top name again, blah, blah, blah. That's how Eubank Jr. does it. If he even comes back, because he said he has, last time we saw him, he was in a hospital bed getting a biopsy. So who knows what's going on there. Then on top of that, Lara, I mean, that's not does Adames at this point in his career really want to risk it against a 41-year-old? That's not an attraction. So the 168-pound thing makes sense. He's probably checking out Shiraz for a rematch, or maybe he wants Canelo. You never know. I know that Soul vs. Source said that. Soul vs. Source said that Adames versus Canelo is a possibility for September. You never know. You never know. Langsbury says, is Aleem the guy that Effe KO'd? No, that's not. I don't know. We're talking about different weights here. Skulky says good win by Adames. Desperado says it was a good scrap. Team Batman Boxy says good fight. The Turk, he's still going at Bomac, calling him Homac. Says Homac always walking around with a gun so people don't try to steal his industrial sized Costco bag of Cheetos. He actually has the gun in the Cheeto bag. Wasn't that what the rumor that he got caught in England with a gun inside a chips bag? I don't know. I think it was a Doritos bag that he was eating at that point. Or it was a hot Cheetos. I don't know. Remember that clip that he was on the Boxing Voice and Two-Tone, what's his name? Two-Tone, the social media guy, asked him about the viral picture there of him eating chips in the background. And Boma got angry. I'm not going to ask you a question from stupid people, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, come on, you love to dish it out, but you can't take it. Outrageous. Unbelievable. Tumatadu says Adam has had a fight slipping from his grasp. Yeah, that's the way I felt. And I felt like he was going to get stopped at some point. I thought he was going to get dropped the way he was training there and getting caught flush with shots. I mean, I like a guy opening up with the combos, but he did it in a way that was too unhinged, and then didn't even come close to stopping at Austin Ammo. Well, actually, I shouldn't say didn't come close because at some point he did have him reeling. But I felt the fight was right there. Maybe we should give Austin Ammo Williams, and again, I give Austin Ammo Williams a lot of credit for changing up his style and being more aggressive, but he just didn't have the wherewithal to space out his energy throughout the fight. Like I said, he would burst with those combos for 30 seconds straight or 15 seconds straight, and then have no more energy, and he would have to recoup. Again, Cunningham did a good job with what he had, the trainer, Kevin Cunningham, but you can only take a guy that's inexperienced so far. Snackford says, I remember clowns way back saying Golovkin would duck Ammo Williams. Nah, get out of here. Nobody. Did people really say that? I mean, why would anybody continue saying that after the Steve Rolls fight, where Ammo Williams looked completely human? Then again, that was way after Golovkin retired, right? I think so. Maybe I'm getting the timelines wrong here, but hopefully people didn't continue that narrative in that Golovkin ended up ducked him in the past and after the Steve Rolls fight. Because I mean, struggling against Steve Rolls again. Steve Rolls, he also made Berlanga look bad, but Steven Butler stopped Rolls. So did Golovkin. So anyway, Langsberg says Ammo was brave and Bronco was too impatient, but I thought he showed his class. It's me, Rock Lee says his combinations were vanilla, kept spamming the right hand. Does he not have other weapons? Landed one significant uppercut. I did not like his performance. It was a good performance. It was a 7 or an 8, but like I said, there were some. He should have gone to the body more. You know me, I'm a body punching guy, and Ismael Salas told him early on. He says, so he's saying, like, you gotta open up down upstairs. You got him looking for those shots upstairs. Now go downstairs, and he did. And every time he did, he hurt Ammo Williams. And then he would go back to headhunting. So I don't know what's going on with him. Shout out to No Name Hero. Says, what's poppin' BDA? Not much. Shout out to Sobers. Shout out to the Soberino out there. He says, Williams' chin was a magnet for right hands. Yeah, those Adam's right hands are laser-like. Which makes it all the more disappointing that he couldn't stop the guy. Shout out to Del Boy. A.k.a. Blue Collar Sports TV, says, middleweight is threadbare at the moment. Poor division. Yeah, it's not all that great as we just saw. Who knows what's going to happen with that one, but hopefully they get it done. Like I said, Adam is probably moving up to 168 as per his tweet yesterday. I don't think he's bluffing because, again, what is there on 168? So shout out to everybody out there. Don't forget to hit the like. Really helps us out. I see Bucho's in there, keeping an eye on things. Shout out to Bucho. All right, let's get down to the news here of what I wanted to talk about. I'm surprised that people are going at Shakur Stevenson. There is some vehemence, some vitriol, some venom being thrown Shakur Stevenson's way. And I think it's because people are starting to realize that this dude talks a lot and then under-delivers in his performances. More than that, people are starting to call him out on the whole catchweight thing. And we're going to get to that. But this all started, and I think I talked about this on Friday's morning show, that Ryan Garcia was doing a kick stream with David Benavidez, and he brought up the fact that what's his name, Shakur Stevenson, what's a catchweight, and Ryan Garcia screw that. Now some people are criticizing Ryan Garcia, saying, "Well, he's the one that introduced it. He's the one that introduced the idea." Well, he can change his mind because it's a stupid idea. And what do you expect from a stupid guy, a guy who says a lot of dumb shit whenever he's on live? But for some reason, people still insist that Ryan Garcia is the one that has to go down and have a dehydration clause on top of that against a guy that's considered by a lot of people unbeatable. That's what people say. Who can beat Shakur Stevenson? He's unbeatable. My God, he's unbeatable. He's untouchable. So that's the way people feel. But then they're defending Shakur Stevenson for trying to implement a dehydration clause. So then David Benavidez, who was sitting there along with Ryan Garcia in that stream, said that whole dehydration catchweight thing is stupid. He should fight you at 147 if he really wants it and if he wants the accolades. And a lot of people said the same thing, myself included. Shakur Stevenson's big bro. Yo, what up, big bro? Terence Crawford didn't need no catchweight or dehydration clause against Canelo. So why should Shakur Stevenson need it if he's that good? He's always talking about, I'm going to whoop ass, I'm going to put belt to ass. And all of a sudden, he needs a catchweight. But again, we're getting too far here, ahead of ourselves here. So David Benavidez said that about Stevenson, say, hey, move up. And Shakur Stevenson came back saying, I said I will on my time. Just on my time. He sounds like a virgin girlfriend, you know? I'm just not ready. We're going to do it, but we're going to do it on my time, yeah. I said I will just on my time, he says, and not on nobody else's time. Tell David I will go up when he go up to his fourth weight class to fight Usyk. Okay, I don't understand why they had to put an interrogation mark there, but see, that's the thing. You can tell that the guy was upset. Because why does he have to tell David Benavidez, well, how about you? When are you going to go up in your fourth weight class? Like, he's there to take a shot at him. So he feels that David Benavidez took a shot on him, but he didn't really take a shot on him. He didn't say anything that was unrealistic or fake or false or inauthentic. He made a good point. He says, why don't he just move up to welterweight? He's a welterweight. You think Shakur Stevenson doesn't walk around in the as a welterweight or above that? And I think he even said he walks around 150 pounds. Again, we're going to have to look at that later on. But yeah, so Shakur Stevenson saying that David should go up to his fourth weight class, which again makes no sense because Benavidez is moving up 25 pounds or thereabouts to fight Zurdo Ramirez next. So that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense there from Shakur Stevenson. Shakur. I don't think Kerr is really understanding what he's saying there. Well, let's get back to it. Sobers, who is in the chat, had made a video showing the contradiction from Shakur Stevenson. Now, I don't have that video, but people did post a lot of evidence on Twitter demonstrating that Shakur Stevenson sort of has been putting his foot in his own mouth there with certain comments. Check this out.
Like, I will fight you at 140. I don't care if you rehydrate to 170. I don't care. That don't make no difference in fights if you got the skills. Like, I will fight you at 140. I don't care if you rehydrate to 170. I don't care. That don't make no difference in fights if you got the skills. If you got the skills. If you got the skills. If you got the skills.
Well, there you have it, straight out of the formerly gap-toothed mouth there of Shakur Stevenson. Don't matter if you get the skills. Skills pay the bills, baby. Yeah. Styles make fights and all that stuff, right? All those cliches. Now, all of a sudden, though, he needs that dehydration clause, and that catch weight, and those special clauses. I'm going to get to my opinion on that, but I want to show you a couple more clips here. Here he is on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about a potential Ryan Garcia, or I think Devin Haney fight. I don't really know the context here, but I think he's talking about Ryan Garcia.
Just do me and Ryan Garcia, for example.
Okay.
I'm going to blow up like 148. He's going to blow up 168 to 170. Now it's like you in a ring with somebody that is like 20 pounds bigger than you. Now, the rehydration clause is kind of crazy, but I will only do a rehydration clause for fighters if I go up to 147 pounds. Because I'm not a 147 pounder, so why would I fight?
Not a 147 pounder. You sure look it whenever you're standing next to Terence Crawford, big bro Terence Crawford. But I just want to rewind here. What did he say? How much does he go up to?
168 to 148.
He's very quick to say that Ryan Garcia moves up to or rehydrates up to 160 or 170 pounds. But when he talks about his weight, he's very hesitant. Check this out. Check out what he has to say about Ryan Garcia. What he says it afterwards. But then I'm going to rewind and when he says his own weight.
168 to 170. Now
168 to 170. He's very sure about that. But then check out when he talks about his weight.
Like 148.
148. Like, really? That last digit is the one that threw you off? 148. This guy looks like he's 148. He's pretty much 150. He's pretty much 150. So for him to be saying, I can't move up to 147, I'm pretty sure he rehydrates up to more than that. He should have been up at 140 way long time ago. I'm still amazed that this dude used to make 126. But then again, you look at him 126, he really does look leaner. But that's what these guys do nowadays. The trick nowadays with the whole supplement thing and snack and all that is that these guys are able to cut a lot of weight and stay at lower weight divisions. And then by the time they've started fighting at their natural weight divisions, they moved up to 3-4 divisions so they can say, you see, I won titles in 4 divisions. And you know how easy it is to win titles nowadays. There's 4 belts floating around. So you get 1 belt, you call a champion now. I'm a champion. 4 division world champion. It's ridiculous how people are gaming the system and how people allow it. Well, that's the rule. It's legal. Yeah, that doesn't mean it should be legal. I don't know, or permitted. I don't understand how some people always go back to that whole. Well, that's boxing. That's boxing. Yeah, keep just reacting to things and following and not questioning anything. But then, I mean, again, so people started pointing out the contradictions from Shakur Stevenson. This guy, TJ Berry, said Shakur trying to say other people lying now because how much he's been getting grilled recently. He in 4K contradicting himself more than any other fighter. Well, I don't know about any other fighter, but he's projecting. He says, lucky I can't respond to his tweets because he blocked me, but folks hate the truth. So people are starting to call out Shakur Stevenson on all the yapping he does. And that's the thing, though, especially with today's social media. Fighters have a direct access now, a direct line of communication with us. And a lot of these guys, they like the limelight. Just look at Terence Crawford. I just recently saw him on Ring Magazine talking about how he would have done against Hagler and Leonard and all that. I'm thinking, geez, this guy can't stay out of the limelight. I'm telling you, if we asked him to come on here, he's going to come on here. I don't think there's a podcast out there that he hasn't rejected so far. I mean, anyway, the point is that everybody, a lot of these fighters now, they think we're all that interested in everything they say. But these guys tweeting, especially when they're thin-skinned like Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford too, they end up putting their own foot in their mouth. And they start saying things and they don't realize that they're contradicting themselves. So then people start criticizing them. And of course, how dare they negatively criticize me? They're criticizing me must be because they're haters. That's what goes on in these people's heads. Or they're racist, right? Remember, the people that are so quick to label other races usually only see the world through that lens. And in black and white, no pun intended. They don't really have the mental capacity to look beyond the fact or even question that, maybe their criticism is valid. No, that's impossible. I'm perfect. It must be because they're haters. They hate me. They loathe me. That's the way they look at it, that victim mentality. Then a clip surfaced on Twitter of David Benavidez. I don't know after which fight this was. Maybe I think we can get some context in the comment itself. But apparently he was criticizing Shakur Stevenson's style. Check this out.
At the end of the day, if everybody's just trying to use defense, this and that, just moving around the ring, there's going to be no fucking action. I know I have confidence in my chin. I have confidence in my power. Sometimes you got to take those chances. If you don't take chances, then you're not going to have nights like this, you know what I mean? So I knew my chin is pretty good. I knew what I was up against, so we went in there and we got the job done.
It is a great fighter.
Definitely, because at the end of the day, I don't want to, me as a fan, I don't want to spend my money and, see something I don't like to see. At the end of the day, these fights are expensive, to the regular person. So I want my people to feel comfortable buying my fight and be like, that shit was worth it.
Now, I don't know if he was talking about Shakur Stevenson. Let me just rewind it.
Me as a fan, we went in there and we got the job done.
It is a great fighter.
Definitely, because at the end of the day, I don't want to, me as a fan, I don't want to spend my money and, see something I don't like to see.
Again, I don't know. I don't know if he was really talking about Stevenson there, but the point still stands of what he's saying is that, look, people are paying, whether in the crowd or with the DAZN or pay-per-view, to watch you fight. And when you get a guy like Shakur Stevenson, who's on record saying, I'm going to fight the way I fight. I don't care about the fans. He said that straight up in the Teofimo Lopez face-off. I don't care about the fans, he said. And he also said that it's stupid to be winning a fight and then try to go out there and stop the guy because you could get stopped. Well, I mean, you step through those ropes, you could get stopped. See what I mean? See, people are always lapping up these fighters like, oh my God, modern-day gladiators because they step through those ropes. But then they fight like, some of these dudes fight like barefoot bitches and they'll tell you that, like, oh, I don't want to get cut. And then people just forget about that. No. As long as they step through those ropes, the job is done. No, it's not done. Now you got to perform, motherfucker. Excuse me for cursing here, but it's...
You blow it!
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have cursed, man. But it's the morning show. I can't curse. It's like a Sunday rules. But, I mean, the point still stands. Look, when Benavidez... his last fight against Yarde wasn't the most appetizing on paper, but at least while I was watching Devin Haney bore us to death against Norman Jr., I was thinking, okay, at least we're going to see a guy in the main event who's going to bring it. And that's David Benavidez. And he's right. Benavidez trying, all this talk about Pacheco's comments about, Mexican style, Mexican, it doesn't require skill. It actually does. There's a reason why Pacheco can't pull it off, because it requires skills. And Benavidez has those skills to be able to walk for. Again, he makes a lot of mistakes with his footwork, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to, like I've been saying for years now, transitioning between offense and defense, there's very few people out there that do it as well as Benavidez does. Bringing those hands up after punching or leaning back or stepping back. He's in the flow. He's in the flow state, as they like to say nowadays, when he's attacking. And so it takes skills to do that. Now, Shakur Stevenson saying, I don't care about the fans. I still don't understand why the boxing establishment is intent on putting that guy as a main eventer. They keep pushing him. They put ESPN and Top Rank, they pushed him onto us. And then what happened? Shakur Stevenson ended up leaving them and actually throwing them under the bus and accusing them of trying to sabotage his career. They paid those people over in New Jersey during the Hortononian fight to leave. They paid those guys. I mean, is Shakur Stevenson for real? Again, I'm telling you, he cannot take criticism. It's impossible that people walked out of his fight. They must have been paid because his fights are so entertaining. But meanwhile, he says, I don't care about the fans, meaning he knows his fights aren't entertaining. So he's all over the place, this dude. He's all over the place. And again, the more he talks, they should really take him off social media, because the more he talks, the more he ends up looking bad, contradicts himself. And people are going to say again, you're hating. Again, I'm showing you the what he said. I'm just repeating what he said. If you have a problem with that, well, then you can take it up with Shakur Stevenson. But he himself is saying, I don't care about the fans, and I'm going to fight the way I fight. I don't know who made you boxing's God, but I'm going to fight the way I fight. Well, then don't be surprised if people don't pay to see you fight. And again, he's been getting such a big push recently that I think his next event is going to do well. But then when people, by the time they're in the 6th round and the fight looks the same as it always does, people are going to start saying, okay, why am I really paying for this? Again, somebody made a caller, and I forget who it was, forgive me. But right after the Shakur Stevenson-Lopez fight, the guy said, look, Shakur Stevenson is good, he's skilled, blah, 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 but he's not a main event type of attraction. Put him on the undercard. I mean, we're not trying to blackball him or anything. We're not trying to shut him out of getting paid on TV, but put him on the undercard. Because people don't want to be watching an undercard and then getting to 12:30 a.m. and saying, oh, shit, now we got to watch Shakur Stevenson dart around the ring and throw one punch at a time and go to a decision. And then he starts running in the last minute, sticking his tongue out, and then jumping on the turnbuckle and beating his chest like he's King Kong, like he just beat up a guy. Which didn't happen. So that's an old clip there of Benavidez. Maybe he wasn't directly talking about Shakur Stevenson, but he certainly was referring to that type of style. And then we're not done yet here. Oh, hold on a second. Fu wants to jump on. Let me throw him a link here. I'm gonna call what's his name, Sober Stu, if he wants to jump on, because again, it's Shakur Stevenson done a lot of talking, and the roosters are coming home. The chickens are coming home to roost, because they're people are criticizing him now for all that talking he's doing, and he's been doing it for a while. And I was surprised that people weren't calling him out on it, but now they caught on to all his contradictions. And good job on everybody out there on Twitter for bringing the receipts, as they like to say, because it really does make the job easier to keep track of all this these things here. Hold on a second. Starting a call here. I'm going to read some comments here later, but it's just I got a lot to say here about that, because I got a lot of things to show as it pertains to Shakur Stevenson. But anyway, going back to this tweet here, somebody said N-word, talking to Shakur. Because Shakur Stevenson said, on my 4th weight class now, and they begging me to go up to my 5th, but the key part is I said I will just on my time. All right, so okay, we already knew that. But then he said N-word. Somebody, I can hear myself in the background. He says N-word. Ain't nobody begging you. You calling out these fighters at 147 and saying how can nobody beat you, yet when they call your bluff, you want a rehydration clause in a catch weight. Now it's, I will go on my own time to 140. I'm just not ready. I just wanted to be with the right person. N-word says, shut up.
N-word, huh?
That's what the guy's saying. N-word, shut up and worry about unifying 140. What do you guys make about this so far? I don't know if you've been following. We got Fu, we got Sober joining us. Shout out to you guys for jumping on early this morning. Early morning risers. I like it. What do you guys think about Shakur Stevenson finally getting some flack on Twitter for all the jawing he does?
I mean, it's well deserved. I mean, the guy's just been, they call him Twitterson for a reason, right? He's always on there. So now he's starting to get guys are actually coming out and going against the crap he makes up, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting.
And who's this pointing out how he's a piece of beep fighter? Is that Benavidez?
Well, Benavidez is the guy. Well, he didn't say it. Well, I don't know the context of that video because they cut out the part where he actually names the fighter, or somebody asked him about a fighter, but they cut off the question. All I heard was David Benavidez saying that he's not a fan of that style and that he tries to go out there and deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to give the people something. I mean, if not, you're just a problem for the sport. That's what Shakur is. I mean, anytime he gets in the ring, no one wants to buy that pay-per-view or go to that event. So, I mean, yeah, Benavidez brings action. When Benavidez coming, he's going to fight near your house. Yeah, those are some tickets you might buy. Shakur, and if you're on the same card with Shakur, right, as a fighter, you're going to be like, I don't want to be on a card with this guy. Imagine they put him in the main event and you're the fight before. They might not even come to the event because of him.
Well, that's the thing, though, because, again, they've been pushing him. They really have been pushing, astroturfing him. So it does work.
It doesn't matter. Most real boxing fans know that guy's a dud, and they're not going to come to the fight. They're not going to pay that big money to, see that guy do his bullshit, whatever the hell you call that.
I agree with Fu because BDA, you're saying he's finally getting some flack online, but there's this duality with Shakur Stevenson, right, in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I brought this up when he was on Top Rank. He got people over there telling him he's the best fighter ever. He's Floyd Mayweather. He's undefeated. He's just his style's impetuous. His defense is impregnable. His defense is impregnable. He's just ferocious. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're telling him. At Top Rank, at Riyadh in the Versace Temple, when they're undressing him and putting oil all over his body, getting him ready for the ritual with Turkey, that's what they're telling him, bro. Like, you're the best. But then he gets online and everyone starts telling him the fucking truth. And he gets pissed. You know what I mean? And he's admitted before that he don't do nothing but train and go home, train and go home. So he's someone who lives on the internet, and people's opinions are very important to him. So he'll be on the internet arguing with people. And it's been for a while. A lot of people have told him, like, bro, you're not that good. Don't like your style, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have all this footage of him, like, arguing with people, like saying, oh, fuck you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He knows. He's always caught heat for that shit. And he's had this weird delusional take where, like you said, BDA, he'll make some shit up saying, wow, I wonder how much Top Rank paid them to fucking walk out of my fight. Like, why would Top Rank pay them? They're trying to promote you, idiot. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
He's
always been criticized online. He's always been getting roasted. If you go to his Twitter right now, I guarantee you that if you go down the timeline, they're just getting cooked.
Oh yeah,
Top Rank paid 5,000 people to walk out.
I mean, exactly. Well, I mean, or to boo, because that's what they were doing. Even I guess Hortunonian, which again I've defended him in the Hortunonian fight because I didn't think it was that boring. However, some people could say, again, I'm just throwing it out there. Some people could say, well, yeah, maybe Top Rank would be willing to sabotage his career because at that point in the Hortunonian fight, it was already a done deal that he was going to walk away from Top Rank, that he wasn't going to resign with him. However.
I wouldn't say walk away. I mean, they got rid of him.
I know. But the reason, that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, here's why I don't think they did that, because Shakur Stevenson is the one who said that. Oh, they paid them. So that's his point of view, right? He also said that Mark Kriegel asked him mostly negative questions after that fight. And then you look back at the interview, there were no negative questions. All he said, even Mark Kriegel was even defending him because he said, I heard people were booing during the fight, which I found surprising. Meaning they shouldn't have been booing. He's defending Shakur Stevenson. And meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson, he's so sensitive. He said, my boy Mark Kriegel was asking me mostly negative questions. There were no negative questions. Again, go back and rewatch the interview. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that it's all in Shakur Stevenson's head. He says that they paid Top Rank. And then he ended up saying, too, he went up after Steve Kim. He went after Tim Bradley. And then he went after Top Rank. He's saying, Floyd told me, talking about Floyd Mayweather, told me they don't fuck with black fighters. I'm thinking, Did you see how much they pushed you and how much money they spent? Again, they did their best with what they had. They kept saying the most defensively responsible fighter in boxing, statistically the least hit boxer in boxing, blah, blah, blah. They really tried their best to prop up a non-punching, boring fighter. And what does he do? He turns back and calls him racist. I mean, I'm telling you, him and Crawford, they get the same mentality.
Crawford did, yeah.
Exactly.
Same thing. They all do it. They all play from the same book. Yeah, Floyd did the same thing, didn't he? He kind of alluded to that. Oh, like they're all against him because the color of his skin. He did when you really go back and watch it. Oh, I don't have a balls. And he made it out like he had a slave master or something. It's like, bro, they built you up. You're a bum. You just run around and hug people all day. It's the same with Shakur. You know, he fights in a very boring manner. So to think that it's just some racist conspiracy, and it's not just the fact that he fights like a bitch, is it's comical. That's what it is.
It is. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable that this is actually going on. But then again, real life is often more unbelievable than any make-believe type of story. Interestingly enough, people are still out there defending him, believe it or not. And this is what will be. Yeah, there always. This is what one guy had to say. Right. Shakur Stevenson used to run, but ever since the Cepeda and Teofimo fight, he stood in the middle of that ring and put on a masterpiece. So this whole running thing is old news. He has changed his style and made me a fan. Very entertaining. So that's where he lost me. He was doing well before that, but then he laid it on a little bit too thick, and you said, okay, this Indian butt evidently didn't know how to word that properly. He went too far. He overshot the runway. Yeah. First of all, let me address that. The Cepeda fight, people keep saying that, well, he chose to fight that way. Now, he tried moving, but Cepeda stuck to him like glue. Even Antonio Tarver said that during the fight. He said, it's hard to move when you're getting hit with those body shots. Second of all, that Teofimo Lopez fight. Okay, he didn't run like he did against Los Santos, but he didn't throw shots. He fired one shot at a time. I mean, when little ass Vasily Lomachenko can walk Teofimo Lopez down, when Kambosos drops him, when Sandor Martin drops Teofimo Lopez, and Shakur Stevenson can't even come close to do that, he's content with one punch at a time. Yeah, one punch at a time. Yeah. Or like Fu says, but I mean, he was, like I said, to me, I know people disagree, but to me, there was no, he won. There's no doubt about that. But one punch at a time, he thinks that's what's going to entertain and dazzle. That's the best he could do against Teofimo Lopez.
I don't even know if I could call those punches. I mean, they're like little flicks, like you got like a booger on his finger. And it says like, flick, flick. And it's all he does, a little flick, and then he moves away. Mm-hmm. I mean,
click on that link, BD, I dropped in the chat, and scroll up to see what I'm replying to, and you'll see like the level that some of these guys go to get on their knees for this fighter. But I'd say for the most part, he gets called out online. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has too many fans online, to be honest. Because anytime I go to this timeline, it's majority like they're just cooking him. They're just making fun of him, telling him he's delusional and like he sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just cooking his head.
So you suck. You want me to? Why did you? Hold on. Oh, okay, a link. You sent a link. Sorry, I was doing.
Click that link, yeah, and then scroll up a little bit.
I was doing two things at the same time here. Just say you want to be the one in the fur coat kissing.
No. Scroll up.
I can't, man, because I'm not logged into.
Oh shit! No. Let me drop a screenshot.
Shout out to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. We got Fu, we got Sobers jumping in. We're enjoying the morning here. We're just talking about Shakur Stevenson. People are calling him out about all the yapping he does about how he's so good, he's so strong, nobody can beat him from 140 to 147. Even his fans have been saying that for years now, that he's unbeatable between 130 and 147. Now all of a sudden he wants a dehydration clause in a catchweight against Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Speaking of all the yapping he does, all right, hold on a second. Let me copy this image here. That's Sobers sent me. Sobers wanted me to show this. Now, for some reason, I don't know why this shit is blurry. I don't know what I did here. All right, so you got a photo of I think that's Shakur Stevenson's wife kissing him in a fur coat. And according to Boxing on Twitter, says the representation American boxing deserves. The post-Mayweather, illiterate, fake gangster, woman-beating, feminine, mentally ill diva victim, Doc era, is one of the main reasons why many gave up on the sport. The Shakur era is the exact opposite of why of the sport is in great hands with him as a leader. And then Sobers replied by saying, Sobers is always getting into it with people on fucking Twitter or on social media, man. He ended up replying to that tweet Sobers did by saying, just say you want to be the one in the fur coat kissing him and be done with it. I mean, the guy said, that the fake gangster persona, that's over. Isn't that what Shakur Stevenson is? A fake gangster? Hang out with rappers?
Running with their friends, pretty much. Swinging on girls in the street.
Exactly, yeah. Beating up people because they and remember, they beat up that guy and those girls because they were catcalling them and they didn't. They refuted their advances, and so they said, "Oh, you don't want," and they
They're
started
like,
beating the
ew.
shit out of them.
Oh yeah, and he was in an interview, Shakur. He was like, he pretended like that guy chested up to him. The dude didn't even look at him.
Exactly.
He punched him in the back of the. He punched him in the back of the head. He told that to an interviewer because he was calling him out, and he was like, "Yeah, he was a big nigga. He came right up to me."
Yeah.
I was like, "What, dude?" Also, he was smaller than Shakur. He was significantly smaller. And he just boom hit him in the back. Dude, the guy can't punch at all. He hit this guy in the back of the head probably like 8 times as hard as he could.
And
the
then
guy
fell.
got up. The mainstream media was there after. I don't know if you know that. They interviewed those people after. Whatever. I don't remember which news outlet it was, but they were there, and the guy was just standing there like, the guy, that boxer, he hit us. And the dude was standing there. He wasn't dazed or anything. The dude is pathetic. He can't even sucker punch someone correctly. And remember, he threw that right hand. He fell over.
Exactly.
On the
Yeah.
floor.
And that's the other thing.
And then he grabbed the guy by the hand and walked away. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Let's bring that up. Like, how do you grab your friend like that? You grab him by the hand.
Well, that's what
Grab him by the wrist and walked away.
That's why he's not. He's very comfortable with Turki al-Sheikh. He's into that type of behavior. But that's the thing about Shakur Stevenson, though, is, he chested up to me. I just told you about how he believes Top Rank paid people to walk away from his fight. How
That's
he
all
thought
lies, yeah.
how he thought Mark Kriegel asked him mostly negative questions, but then you rewatch the interview and you see no negative questions. So it's only his head. He imagines things. And
Well, it's
like
everybody but him, right?
exactly. That's what
Like,
Sobers was
why
saying.
would you trust a guy like that? He's the face of boxing. Like, just the thing Sobers said. This guy just assaulted some random couple in the street. He's a piece of beep. He's trash. And then he comes out there and he won't even like own up to it. Like, dude, you're just trash. That's all there is to it. The fact that he doesn't own up to it, he creates these fake stories, just shows that he's a liar.
That's really lame.
I want to say the F word, but I can't.
I messed up. At least, Keyshawn Davis admits he's suicidal. And you'll say, what if I just jumped off this 5-foot garage head first? What happened?
What if I jump on the kiddie pool and
What if I just jump off this 3-foot
What if I just
garage?
jump face first into the 5-foot deep end of the pool?
What if I jump lovingly into Bomac's arms?
there's a puddle in the ground. What if I jump on it and never come out? But it's interesting though, because again, people are calling him out.
That's deep.
People are calling him out on Twitter because of all the yapping he does. And I just caught on to, because again, I don't catch it all. I just got on to what he does, this little technique that he does to try to keep selling and try to keep staying afloat. And this is what he said on Twitter, because again, people were calling him out about the dehydration thing and all that, how he used to say, I don't need no dehydration clause, skills pay the bills. Now all of a sudden he wants a dehydration clause and catchweights. So he caught on to the fact that people were coming at him. So he says, I didn't even show everything yet, and I'm still getting better. I'm very dangerous against whoever. Keep letting social media trick you fighters. So I said, that's the trick. It's always, I'm getting better.
He meant, I think he was
You
talking
gotta
about,
look at the replies video. You gotta look at
I think he was talking about Turki al-Sheikh. He's going to show him a little more later.
Come on, man.
I think he pulled the fucking TikTok, reverse.
What are you talking about, Carl? What does that refer to?
He pulled the TikTok, reverse. He did the fucking reverse psychology on you. He said, "No, that's not what happens. I've still got plenty more to give. You think that was boring? You waited my next fucking fight."
I'm not done yet.
I'll show you what
Watch me
boring
throw.
really is.
He's going to try to throw one punch around. That's his goal.
But that's
one punch around, and I make you
I
miss
just can't
everything.
for the life of me. As long as my ass points to the ground, I just cannot support this guy.
I know,
I
man.
just
I mean,
can't
it's the yapping and yeah, okay. So first of all, that's the technique that he has now, where I haven't even shown you everything I got yet. No, yes, you have. Against Hartunonian, that's about as good as it's gonna get in terms of entertainment. And then somebody called him out on that. Shout out to this guy. Everything healthy. He says. He put on some laughing emojis. He says, "Whenever you have the opportunity to show everything, you play it safe. Ain't nobody gonna keep believing these lies." Versus Arton, you had the opportunity. Versus Josh Padwork, you had the opportunity. Versus Theo, you had the opportunity. It's true, and it's coming straight out of the gap-toothed mouth. He said, "It's stupid when you're winning a fight." Shakur Stevenson said this. "It's stupid when you're ahead on a fight and you try to end it because then you could get caught. That's stupid," he said. And then he also said, "I don't care about the fans. I'm gonna fight the way I fight. Who made you the boxing god?" So I'm not the one making this shit up. I'm not like Shakur Stevenson. I don't make shit up. It's coming straight out of his gap-toothed mouth. He doesn't want to entertain.
Oh.
But now all of a sudden,
Wait. That's unfair. He doesn't have the gap anymore.
That's true. Why I should have said formally gap to the mouth. No, I'm trying to spice it up a little bit here, but the point remains. Look, if he fights like he did against Hortundonian, and that's the best he's got, okay, but at least he's trying. But now him saying I don't care about the fans, and then he says I haven't even shown you everything yet. So which one? I mean, does he care or doesn't he care? Because Teofimo Lopez also called him out on that during the face-off, where he said I don't care about the fans, but then afterwards he said I'm going to give the fans a show, and then Teofimo Lopez like, well, you said you don't care about the fans. Oh, no, so excuse me. Somebody pointed that out on Twitter. It wasn't even Teofimo Lopez who called him out on that. I don't think he had the capacity to catch it.
Was that after the De Los Santos fight? I think that was after the De Los Santos fight, wasn't it? Because that was when he started copping some serious flack.
Yeah, and it's after the De Los Santos fight, he really went at people on Twitter too. Even his wife had to come out and defend him, and then people started posting pictures of the wife posing with rappers. They were trying to suggest that I don't know what they were trying to suggest, but
the crazy thing too, BDA, is Navarrete and Robson Conceição were the co-main, and that was an absolute barn burner. Absolute barn burner of a fight. They fought to a draw, majority draw. That was a brilliant fight.
Should have been the main event.
Yeah, man. And that was the weekend of the Formula One in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big selling point for boxing. We're going to pull the Formula One audience in. Not with that garbage, you're not.
Yeah, because they're intent on putting him as the main event. And look, he does good ratings. He did good ratings on ESPN. Now, I don't know, ever since he's on DAZN, he's been fighting on pay-per-view. So I don't know how well he's done because when he fought Padley, he wasn't the main event, and that was on pay-per-view. When he fought Cepeda, didn't fight on the main event pay-per-view. Finally, he gets on the pay-per-view main event against Teofimo Lopez, and we don't get the numbers. So who knows what happened?
It was you and I talking about this, BDA. The guy, he's not a pay-per-view star. He's an undercard fighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he'll ever be.
Yeah.
He'll never pull big numbers. Ever.
I mean, you put him on free DAZN, I think you could generate some interest, but eventually people are going to realize, oh, this guy the fights always look the same. You could leave after the first round, come back in the 6th, it looks the same. You go back to the 8th, it's going to look the same. People don't enjoy that. I'm sorry. It's again, I don't mind it. Especially against Teofimo Lopez, it was uneventful, but I enjoyed watching it to a certain degree because it's against another world-class guy, right? But if he's doing that against Puello or against, some other lower level, guy that is lower level than him, then I don't care about watching that. He's got to challenge himself for me to be interested in that style and to put him in the main event. If you're not going to put him against any other elite guy, then I'm sorry, he shouldn't be in the main event because he's going to bore you, and eventually, long-term, that hurts the brand of whatever event you're showing or holding because people aren't going to be coming back every other day to watch the same, that every round look the same. Again, he got a lot of, you got to remember, he caught a lot of flack for the De Los Santos fight, but that was almost 3 years ago. They rebuilt him slowly but surely, and then finally the Teofimo Lopez fight. So he sort of redeemed himself a little bit, but I'm telling you, he's going to look the same again in the next fight and in the second fight, and that's when long-term people are going to start losing interest. But why is the establishment intent on putting him on as a main event?
I don't know. I think the only reason he looked... I think the only reason he looked good against Cepeda was because he had to look good against Cepeda because Cepeda was cutting the ring off and coming at him.
I don't know if I'd say he looked good versus Cepeda.
Well, it's the only dude that's ever made him fight. Put it that way. It's the only guy that's ever made him fight was Cepeda.
Yeah,
to display a few skills, to display a bit more than a 1-2 retreat. Like, it's just, like the guy's a master at gauging distance. Whoop he fucking do.
He doesn't load up on anything. He doesn't throw power punches. He kind of just hits you with little slaps and touches. He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you've seen him throw some attempt to throw hard punches in Cepeda fight. He was completely off balance.
Well, you know what? Yes, go ahead.
And then he throws a lot of shots with the inside of the glove. I mean, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by your performance.
I was not impressed. Yeah.
I think a lot of the internet. I think a lot of the internet has made their mind up about Stevenson, and they don't like it. They don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
I will always support every opponent he has. I'm going on record to say I can't stand the guy. I'll never sit there and watch. I will never be on the edge of my seat watching 12 rounds of Shakur Stevenson ever again in my life. And I will support every fighter that fights him from here on out.
Well, there you go. That's a mission statement right there from Carl. very succinct.
Yep.
Vote for Carl, by the way, Carl in office. But you know what though? It's interesting because again, people are bringing up the fact that. By the way, the Hartunonian fight and the Cepeda fights are the only two fights that I can rewatch of his, or one of the few, two of the few. Fights. But I will say this again: people calling him out for talking a lot about I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Again, this guy said he had the opportunity against Teofimo Lopez, against Padley, and against Hartunonian, and you know, and people will say, well, wait a minute, he stopped Padley. He didn't. I mean, he hit him. Padley was coming off the couch, and I don't even think he was a real lightweight.
He's like, who the hell?
It was actually installed. It was actually installed on solar panels 8 days before the fight.
That's what people say.
And that's no lie. He's an electrician. It was installed on solar panels on the roof of the house 8 days before the fight. And it still took Shakur 9 rounds to get him out of there.
And I've said it before. The thing that annoys me about Shakur Stevenson is in the Conceição fight, I'm going to whoop your ass. He's the one that instigated against Conceição. Then he misses weight and proceeds to punch Conceição 20 times plus in the balls and still can't fucking put a dent in the guy. Then he says the same thing to De Los Santos. I'm whoop your ass. His entourage too. They were talking smack to De Los Santos outside the venue the day before the fight. He stinks the joint out. Hartunonian, it's about how much punishment he can take. That's what Stevenson said. He goes in there, can't put a dent in him. The only guy that got hurt was Stevenson in the 9th or 10th round. Cepeda, same thing. I'm gonna put belt to ass. The only guy who got hurt in that fight was Stevenson twice. Once with a jab and the other one with a body shot, and I think it was a 9th round. Then he's looking up at the clock at one point, trying to run the clock out. And then against Teofimo Lopez, he tells his father, don't throw in the towel. You rewatch the fight. Do you think at any point Teofimo Lopez Sr. was considering throwing the towel after one badoink at a time? I mean, this guy...
Yeah, there was no danger. There's no danger there. I mean, he's just running after the guy, he's just laying little taps.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what people are starting to notice. Hey, this guy keeps talking about belt to ass, putting belt to ass, whooping ass, and then he goes in there one punch at a time.
But you can't tell me that he couldn't have done more in that Tio fight, man.
Of course.
You can't.
I don't know if he could have. I think Tio would have hit him with something if he actually would have tried. You know, if Shakur would have tried more than throwing taps, right? Like, what do you want him to do? To try to knock him out? It's doubtful that he would have been able to do that.
I don't know, man. I just expect a little bit more from guys, but I don't from him. I mean, fighters that I support, I expect that in them.
He doesn't commit. That's just his whole MO is to not commit. Like just touch. He point-based fighting, like amateur shit.
Exactly, it's an amateur style, man. You only need to see 3 rounds of that shit. That's all you need to do. Or what?
I think him and Haney are the only fighters that have ever turned the fights off. I'm like sitting there on a Saturday. I'm like, I just turn it off. Like I'll watch something else, or play a game or something.
It's just super boring, man. And I've got ADD at the best of times, so I can't sit there and fucking watch that shit for 36 minutes. No way in the world.
Oh, I mean, it's what's funny is that you see like his, whatever, he has fans one day, and the next he has none. This Teal fight was so bad that I saw them like making highlight videos of low blows and like stuff that's not even scoring, like push downs and all that. Like you guys are really making this stuff up, huh? You want this guy to be more than what he really is.
Oh yeah.
Well, he didn't do that much. So I guess if he's like fending like a footballer or something, they've got to show him his highlights because man, it was kind of very repetitive round 1 to round 12 with that dude. I don't know, man. Whatever it is, it's just the hate inside that I was born with as a convict. I can't stand the fucker.
Well, I'll say this, man, because I think it was Fu who just mentioned it earlier about how Stevenson was falling off balance in certain spots against Cepeda because he was trying to load up. In the De Los Santos fight, in the last round, there's a part where De Los Santos actually starts moving back a little bit, and Shakur Stevenson tries to go for loads up on a shot, and he looked horrible. He was flailing at the wind, and I'm thinking, it's the same thing that Devin Haney. When Ryan Garcia started back foot bitching it in certain parts against Haney, and then Haney had to come forward, he was looking horrible. And that's what a lot of these guys should be doing to these guys. Somebody in the chat said, Desperado says, who said? Adam in the chat says, let Shakur come to you. He hates offense. That's what I actually said before the Lopez fight. I asked the question, should Teofimo Lopez actually back foot bitch it? And in hindsight, I think that would have been what he should have done. Because him jumping in and falling off balance against Shakur Stevenson, that's the way Shakur Stevenson would have looked like, a little bit, not as pronounced, I think. But if you back foot bitch against this dude, what's he gonna do? What is Shakur Stevenson gonna do? He's already on record saying he doesn't like putting pressure, he doesn't like getting hit. So I think at this
What was that was the same with De Los Santos. He had to come at him because if not, he wouldn't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he still won that fight. You know what I'm saying? If you back foot bitch against Stevenson, it's going to be a De Los Santos fight. He's not coming forward.
No.
And to further your point earlier on. Sorry, Sabas.
No, my bad. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, BDA, to further your point you were saying about the size, you know, like when Shakur was stuttering about, I make about 148. Fuck, I've got to get up. You bang on about it. Like he's talking about Ryan like he's 170, 168 pounder when he's rehydrated. And I'm thinking, like, go in there and just fight that man at his weight division, man. Don't take no catch weight. Like, Ryan is the undisputed champ at 143 pounds, just so everyone knows. He's had more fights at 143 pounds than he has anywhere. And you know what, man? I'll say this much. Look, going into that camp, when Ryan came in at 146.5, I went, that's the first time he's made weight really easy, and he was underweight. And he looked good in that fight, man. He had a right hand. Didn't just have a left hand. He dropped in with the right hand. So,
They get
I
scared,
don't know,
Carl.
Ben. What's that?
I said they get scared when they see him. I don't know what it is because he's the same size as them and shit. You know, making
You
them,
know what it is? I think because Ryan does that.
how good was his performance against Barrios that Stevenson would try to compare him to Usyk? He's like, yeah, I'll fight Ryan. When you fight Usyk, like they're really comparable to you.
That's a good point, man. Yeah, it's a good observation.
That was reaching. Jesus, he was reaching there, wasn't he?
And by the way, look, I think Ryan Garcia against Haney. I think Haney was 163 in that fight. I think Garcia was 161. But you telling me Shakur Stevenson is way below that when he rehydrates? Nah, I mean they're
I don't think so.
He's not 148.
Yeah, they're comparable. It's comparable weight. So
I don't think he's one. I think he's bigger than 148. I think he comes in the ring closer to
175 outside of camp, right?
he's probably 150 something in the ring, I bet.
And by the way, so yeah, and that's the thing. And so let's say, because Shakur Stevenson's on the record saying it's not about weight, it's about skills paying the bills. Somebody could say, well, maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he doesn't want to fight a guy that big anymore. All right, fine. Then again, Ryan Garcia has the right to change his mind too and say, screw the fucking dehydration clause. Let's fight at 147. So, both guys have the right to do what they want, but they're going to get some flack for it at the end of the day. So
I just think it's funny. Like, to me, it's like Ryan's a millionaire at a strip club, and these dudes are all like strippers dancing on a pole for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to see how much money he can throw at him. That's what it seems like to me, man. Like, soon as someone has a win, bang, these dudes are all over him. I remember when Kambosos got that gift robbery against Maxie Hughes in Oklahoma. Like, they had a British guy and an Aussie guy fighting in Oklahoma. Like, make that make sense. But anyway, and Shakur was there. And he was, like, Kambosos and his old man were in an interview after the fight. And Shakur comes running up and he says, I want that fight. And Kambosos wouldn't even give him the time of day. He's like, nah, mate, nah. Like, you're not even anywhere near the top of the line, mate. You're too boring. But yeah, he's kind of like a desperate stripper, like looking for $1.
Desperate stripper looking for $1.
It's kind of true, actually, right?
Right. I mean, but yeah.
It's kind of how it seems, man. Like, I don't know. Like, the guy wins a belt, and within hours, mate, the Sharks are circling,
Well, that's the thing, Carl. Carl, think about it, man. This dude is an Instagram model. That's what everybody says. He's not a real fighter. He's an Instagram model. All he has is a left hook. And yet, Tank Davis needs a dehydration clause, a catch weight, spice in the camp.
Yep.
He needs all of that just to get a win against an Instagram model. Shakur Stevenson, all he has is a left hook. And yet he wants a dehydration clause, catch weight, probably spice in there, the snack. I mean, he needs it all. He wants it all, baby.
Yeah.
And you know what? Conveniently, if he fucking beats him, he'll probably test positive again.
Oh, yeah.
Sean might have another dream.
Exactly, man.
Sean might have another dream, another premonition from Allah.
By the way, Alejandro Marquez on the chat says, Mr. BDA, how did you get the chapa on this show? Well, you know, we get all the big names here. That's what we got. We got Chapa. I think that's your nickname now, Carl. Chapa.
Oh, right, Chopper.
The
Good
Chopper.
old Uncle Chop Chop.
Yeah, Uncle Chopper, yeah. Speaking of weight, by the way, we've known for years that David Benavidez is a big dude. Big dude. Still can't believe he made 168 pounds. Well, a new clip is surfacing on Twitter of David Benavidez talking about the weight. Now, again, I don't know how people missed this because it was out there for everybody to see. And D-Block posted this on the Twitter.
By the time I get to the end of the training camp, the fight week, I'll cut like about 10 pounds. 10 pounds. I'll lose like 25, 26 pounds the whole training camp. Well, what I have to lose when I sign the fight would be like maybe 27 pounds. And then I'll lose maybe 20 through the training camp, and then the last week would be another 10. Well, you already know if you do everything right with the water manipulation and all that, it comes off easy.
The water manipulation. I got to tell you.
Yeah. It's mostly water. That's what it is. A lot of that weight he has. He was a fat kid. I think his best weight is 168. I think that's where he looks his strongest.
He can't
and
make
he's in his best. I mean, like
no, he can't even make 168. He can't even make 168. Stop saying that.
I want to see his endurance. How his endurance goes in this fight.
He needs to build up then because his body doesn't look right for light heavyweight. He looks fat.
He looks the same. He looks the same at 175 that he does at 168.
He looks a little more trim. Skin. I thought he looked more trim. You can see his muscles. At
I've been saying
light heavyweight, he looks a little chubby, and then at cruiserweight, he's going to probably be a blob. So I mean,
I've been saying this right, and I'm not shitting on him, right? Because all the other Americans do it, bro. You fucking do it too, fuck it.
That's right.
They just mad when they do it, but when I do it, it's a problem anyway. So I've been saying this since they're trying to make that Canelo fight. He hangs around 230. He hangs around 230, 225, 220, 230. That's where he's at. You know what I'm saying?
That's not like a trim, healthy weight. That's like fat and water. That's probably what that is. If he can make it there, he doesn't have that kind of that body type. Like he's getting muscly or anything. He's just a chubby, skinny fat guy, like a Nate Diaz. That's why I compare him to. He's not built to be a big giant fat guy.
I can't wait to see how his endurance goes with that. I know how big the guy is, right? But still ripping that 25 pounds off in fight week. To get to 175, to then rehydrate, to not have to do that, I think he might get a bit lazy. And I want to see how his endurance goes. And these so-called rounds where Benavidez takes over everyone in the from round 6 to 12, I'm interested to see how he goes with Zerto, because I know what I'm going to get out of it.
He's going to come into that fight. Is he going to come in? What is he going to do? Like, he's not going to bulk up. He doesn't have enough time to even attempt that. So what is he going to do? Come in as the light heavyweight, what's it called? Light heavyweight Benavidez at a cruiserweight. Is that what it's going to be?
That's exactly what. That's why I don't get. Like, I think this fight is really stupid. He should fight Bevo or Benavidez. He's barely carrying the weight. The way he looked at against Yard, he looks like he's starting to carry the weight at 175 now better. He's like adjusting to the weight class to now move up another one, and they say you're going to jump back down. This fool really thinks he's Roy Jones. Junior,
it's not a great idea.
You don't remember what happened to Roy Jones? He's not the exception. He's the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
he got knocked the fuck out playing around too much. He fucked around and found out.
In regards to that,
water manipulation.
It's like they say nowadays from the White House and all that. Every time they something bad happens, like like the ICE shootings and all that, they go, did this agent kill this person? And they go, well, the situation is fluid. That's what they say now, like to avoid answering a question. They say the investigation is ongoing or developing. Right. Now they start saying
just like Shakur Stevenson's sexuality, it's fluid.
Come on, man, what the fuck?
We didn't talk about that.
We need to talk about what? But
we don't talk about that in public.
You know what? What they say now too is the situation is liquid. It's like, come on, now you're going too far. The situation is liquid, but. That's also how some of these Shakur Stevenson things end up in Dubai, man. I mean, not Dubai, Riyadh. Liquid, they end liquid. But listen, you said that Benavidez can make 168. That's a pipe dream. I
don't know what he's doing in his camp, but I feel like when you see his physique, and he's more trimmed down. He looks a little sharper
No,
there. When he went
that's
up,
not a pipe dream.
he's not very heavy. Like you saw when Morrell was hitting him with those shots. Even when he blocks them, they're pushing him over. Like he doesn't seem like he's just not as strong as these guys. They're bigger, they're more muscular. They look bigger than him. Like remember that first dude he fought, that big Russian guy. I forgot his name. That dude looked like Gvozdyk. He looked way bigger than Benavidez. If that's the kind of guy he's going to be fighting at a light heavyweight, and he's going to go up to cruiserweight, and the guys are even bigger now. Like, yeah, that guy is. I don't think he's as big as what people really think he is. He's just got big fat person legs. Like he has what he used to have, I guess, because he was supposedly much heavier, and you could see it in his legs. He got really strong legs, but his upper body is just a small guy, not a very muscular guy. Even his shoulders aren't very broad; they're like pinched in. So to me, he's never looked like this giant mass monster outside of his height. That's about it.
I just think in 6 months, man, like Bud did it in 12 months to jump up 14 pounds to fight Canelo. David's jumping up 25 pounds in 6 months to fight Zerto. A guy that's been pretty seasoned at that division now, and he's no slouch at the division, man. He's a unified champ. I give Zerto his props, mate. He's there for a reason. This David, like a flash in the pans, just turned up and, stolen the fight off Opatire. And, hey, I get the Cinco de Mayo, and I get that, he thinks he's going to be the new Mexican hero. But for the life of me, I don't know that you want to be jumping up 25 pounds, man, because to me, that last week in that camp when he's cutting that weight, that's a part of your conditioning, mate. That's a part of what your camp is.
But is he gonna? What weight was he talking about in that interview? Is that the cruiserweight, or is that what he did in the past?
I think he's talking about 175 because that's what I was gonna get to in regards to 168. Check this out because I think this is gonna really illuminate. That's not what I wanted to show you, by the way. Hold on.
Look at that hairline. Yeah.
All right.
Before you jump on that,
he's
you
getting
were saying
himself another couple of inches with the glasses.
168.
The glasses a little forward.
168 for Benavidez was a pipe dream. I think it's a Canelo dream. That's the only way he's coming back down.
Right. Yeah. I think he would try to. All right. This is what I want to show. Hold on. This is what I want to. No, that's not it either. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. That's
wait. Is that Keith Thurman?
No, that's Divino Espinosa's picture of Jesus on his rope. Okay, this is what I want to show. This is Benavidez in the build-up to the Yardy fight on Fight Week. Look at that. That's him making 175. He's still looking gaunt.
Yeah. But he's pinched, right? You see his shoulders? They're not broad. Like he doesn't have like a big man's body.
Look at his face.
For some reason, he's got a big ass head.
His frame, his bad genetics, his skinny fat body, that has nothing to do with the weight class that he's fighting.
You know what I'm saying? It's all water.
You can't say all these guys are so buff. Why is he fighting them? Some guys are buff, some guys aren't, bro. That's boxing.
And then on top of that, look at Benavidez here pose. Okay, he's a featherweight, Barrera, but then this was a legendary Instagram post where somebody said about his weight off season, and Benavidez replied by saying 230.
Yeah, he puts on a lot of. I mean, the guy must eat really poorly if he's putting that much on. That's not muscle. I mean, this guy, you never see him like jacked or anything like that. Right? It's all flab and water.
And like, does he go to In and Out like 6 times a week?
Probably.
Is he that type of guy?
I mean, that's his fault though, right? That's on him.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, it's not solid mass. It's not like he's coming in there. You got all this muscle and all that. He's just
but that's by choice. That's by choice.
I understand that.
For him,
I understand. But I'm saying that what I'm saying is that you can't just go 100% by the way, because a very small man, could bloat up to 200 plus pounds, even if they're a much lower division. So that's really not even his true walking around weight. That's just like him eating poorly.
Bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll say this, man. Carl brought up a good point because this is what I've been asking. I'm curious to get your takes on this. He used to kill himself to make 168, to a certain degree 175. Now he keeps saying this, that he's going to be comfortable at cruiserweight. And I'm thinking there's two sides to this coin. He could be more comfortable now that, like you guys were saying, now that he doesn't have to cut weight, he'll be able to perform better. Or it could be the opposite.
Lazy.
That's what Carl said.
A lot of fighters have done that. They just become lazy. Now they don't want to make the weights, and then they eat however they want. And they're like, I'm stronger than ever. Then they go in the ring with Zerto. And for all we know, Zerto might, like I said, you see Morrell hitting him with these shots. They're not even hitting him. They're hitting him on the arms and then knocking him over and all that. So this guy, Zerto's a big guy. Like you could tell he's naturally big.
He's got a
Not
huge
only
head.
that, too, he's very durable, bro. He can
Yeah.
take punishment.
But just
He
the
has
weight.
got a
Like when
a
he hits
chin
this
on
guy,
him. You could punch an ox in the head or a buffalo and get the same response that you're going to get out of Zerto. I don't know, man. I think Zerto has a good chance of winning this fight. I don't know. I'm not all on this Mexican monster. For the life of me, man, how you can be given a tag of a monster and the current division you're in
So
now.
look how big he is. That's a big. That dude makes him look small. Now that's a weight class difference. You can tell that Zerto's a cruiserweight.
You got a 33% knockout ratio at light heavy, and you're going up to face him.
Yeah.
I mean, skills-wise, Benavidez, I think we all agree, faster hands, better on the inside, more compact.
Yes.
But he's also a bit of a slapper. And you see
But
this.
Will he keep it? The question is, will he keep that speed
exactly?
when he goes
That's
up?
a big question.
Is Benavidez this perfect fighter? Because, like, just tell me this perfect fight to go watch. Because he's got holes in his game everywhere.
He does. They all kind of do, you know. He's an action fighter, so he's always going to get hit with some stuff.
Exactly. That's the joy of these guys, man. They get hit. They get wobbled. What I love about it.
This is going to be a barn burner, I think. This is going to probably be a really good fight.
I don't know, man. You might be biting off more than you can fucking chew with Zerto.
He could. Like I said, I mean, you could clearly see the size difference. I mean, this guy is truly a weight class bigger than him. That's what
those rounds where you know the power and the volume and all that starts to take over. For the life of me, I don't know how that's going to go when you're not cutting that weight in camp. That last week when sparring's over and it's all about dropping the pounds. And it's all about that's half of your conditioning right there, man. If you don't have to do that, man, if you're just strolling into the weigh-in, I don't know. I think that might.
Most guys trim down, you know, they usually don't just come in like stroll in. They're all struggling to make these weights.
Well,
I think it's most of these guys.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, but
go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
No, but if it's not like these guys haven't been in camp for a long time, man. We knew about this fight in November last year. So, you know, it's not a case of he's just coming into camp and, you know, walking into the weigh-in.
Exactly.
He's been sparring. He's been doing a hell of a lot of sparring, but he's also been doing his conditioning. So, I don't know what's he got to do that last week when the sparring stops and it's all about the cut. I don't know what he does.
Well, it is interesting. Go ahead.
He needs to keep himself close to the weight, and not. I mean, what is that? That's got to be what, I guess 10 pounds of fat. He said something like that. Lean out, and then he loses all that water, and that's gonna suck you down, and that's gonna put a stress on your body. So if he can make it where he has to lose less, because what did he say, like 25 pounds of water?
No, look, I was gonna say it's very funny how squirrely these guys get when you ask them about their weight. They're like women, right? Shakur Stevenson and I mean it's 25. I mean 10 and then 20. Well, when it started it's 27, and then on White Week it's another 15, and take away the 8 pounds that I You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't he couldn't give any solid numbers. And the same thing with Shakur Stevenson.
I thought he was going through the process of
no, he posted pictures of him at 175 off of camp. You know what I'm saying? Outside a fight camp. So it's like, bro, you're cutting a lot of weight.
Shakur?
Yeah.
Shakur did that? Oh, that's crazy. So he is big. Then he really is big then, because you never see him like fat. Like he's always kind of trim. He's not like.
Does he do a lot of road work? Does Benavidez do a lot of road work, a lot of running?
Well, he's got
I don't know.
I think so. He must, man. I think he must, to try to get that weight down too. I mean, although jogging isn't really the best to get the fat down. That's you need the high intensity interval training for that. But you guys bring up some excellent points, man, because I mean the weight thing is really the key issue here. Because Zurdo, I've never really been that high on him. If you think Benavidez deserves criticism for the lack of technique or whatever, what about Zurdo? People, he's been looking good at cruiserweight, but that's because now he's fighting slower guys. Now, I do give Zurdo credit for beating Chris Billiam Smith and the other guy, what was his name? Guru Malian or whatever, and then Dorticos. Dorticos was passing.
He didn't look real good against Dorticos. He looked slow and like he'd been out too long.
Mm-hmm. Now, well, that's the thing, though. And you look at here at Zurdo, maybe you guys can see it because I don't think the definition is the best, but it looks like Zurdo's wearing thicker soles on his shoes than Benavidez.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he looks a little bit taller, but he does have a giant-ass head. Now, let's say that he is naturally taller. and bigger than Benavidez.
Sorry
Zurdo
about that.
looked smaller compared to Chris Billiam-Smith. Chris Billiam, again, cruiserweight. These guys are heavyweights, 200 pounds, and they probably walk around to 200 plus. So how is Benavidez going to look there? Because Zurdo was able to drive back Chris Billiam-Smith and had Chris Billiam-Smith respecting his shots. And I'm thinking, look, and I know people are going to get sick and tired of me saying this, but I'm going to keep repeating it up until the fight. The way people should fight Benavidez is not trying to counter him. Don't try to counter him because he's perfected that style where he comes at you, he attacks, and he's expecting people to counter him, and then he'll just step back, lean back, or block the shots real quick. Benavidez will. So all these dudes looking for that one shot, you know, that's why guys like Andrade and Caleb Plant start panicking because their counter-punching shit doesn't work against Benavidez. You get a punch with him, but all these guys are terrorized of fighting him because speed kills, and Benavidez's shots come real quick on the inside. However, what if Zurdo, who was able to drive back a big guy like Chris Billiam-Smith, takes those punches and he said, I don't give a shit about his flying, he's swatting. He's flying, like he's swatting at flies, and he starts punching with him. Then things could get interesting. But I don't know if,
Sorry to cut you guys off. I got to get out of here, man.
What?
Have a good day. I got to go.
What do you mean? You gotta or you wanna?
I got to leave. I have to leave.
All right. Well,
All right. I'll see you guys later, right?
Take it easy, food. Thanks for
Have a
jumping
good
in, man.
day. Have a good one.
Take it easy, bro.
Bullshit.
Yeah, can he use that size, BDA? Can he use his size to smother Benavidez? I think that's what he's got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he's got to do. And look, you're dead right. Zurdo ain't no defensive genius and fleet of foot, but he's got footwork, man. He's got footwork, and he's hella durable, man. And he's been taking punches from cruiserweights a hell of a lot longer than Benavidez has. And I look back at that Benavidez fight with Ronald Gavril, the first fight, when he won a split decision against him. And that Ronald Gavril was landing some good leather on him, And I'm thinking, you know, if Zurdo can get over the top of him and back him up, let's see how David goes getting backed up. No one's ever backed him up. Let's see how he goes getting backed up and fighting off the back foot. I want to see it.
Excellent point. Yeah, because everybody's scared of him. They don't have the mentality or the wherewithal. Gvozdyk did okay because he was firing throwaway shots, and that kept Benavidez busy, you know, trying to look for openings, didn't know when the hard stuff was coming from. But all these other guys, like Morel, for example. Oh, and this is what I pointed out in the last show on Friday. When's the last time Benavidez fought a good body puncher? He hasn't fought a guy who knows, like I said, who has the balls to stay in there with him and find him on the inside and throw body shots. Plant's not a body puncher. Andre's not a body puncher. Fucking Yardy's a body puncher, but he doesn't. He's like Austin Ammo Williams, another one of those dudes that he has physical abilities, but he doesn't have he started too late in the boxing world, and he doesn't have the wherewithal or the know-how to really stay in there. Zurdo's the first guy that really goes to the body, but again, against Chris Billiam-Smith, he was landing some good body shots, and then he would just try to headhunt for the rest of the rounds. It's like, nah, man, if you're gonna fight Benavidez, you gotta stay to the body, because that's the other thing. Watch Benavidez's guard; it's way too high sometimes. He doesn't care about giving up body shots because that's where the size advantage also comes into play. He doesn't really care about taking too much punishment against these smaller guys. Now he's fighting a big dude. That's when he should go to the body.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think he's got to put him on the back foot. Got to walk him down. He did it with Billiam-Smith, a bigger dude than Benavidez. So if he can do that, man, I think David's in for a long night. And, you know, if you got some big dude laying all over you, man, it's going to drain the absolute ass out of you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, you know, and then we go back to the point of, you know, being at a weight division that's 25 pounds, man. It's the biggest jump in boxing. It really is. Outside of that, man, like you're going from cruiser to heavy. So 25 pounds, man, I don't know. Dudes hit a lot harder up in that division, eh?
Yeah, it's true, man. It's one thing to spar, and I've been sparring the big guys. I've been sparring, with 16-ounce gloves and headgear. Now you got to go in there with the 10-ounce gloves, and the guy's going 100%. How's that going to look? Some people.
I love sparring stories, BDA. Sparring stories are awesome. They make the online the social media world go round.
Exactly.
This place lives on sparring stories.
How'd you do in sparring?
You know,
how'd you do in sparring against this guy? I beat.
Did you see Tank sparring Devin as a 16-year-old kid? Oh my God!
Exactly.
Like, it's just the relevance of this shit is pointless. Like, sometimes I get into gym rivalries when guys like that match up, you know, and there's these guys know each other in work, like Boachuk and Virgil Ortiz. They knew each other's game inside out. You could tell that in that fight, man. You could, and David Naika and Jaya Pataya, two guys that have done hundreds of rounds together, prepared each other for plenty of fights.
Yeah,
and they have those types of fights.
See,
you
I
know,
didn't know that.
Outside of that stuff by BDA, like sparring stories of, I don't know, they're for dreamers and, I don't know, procrastinators. Oh, I don't know, man. Sparring stories mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I know,
like David Benavidez sparred Triple G when he was a fat little kid. Wow. It's amazing. Jaya Pataya sparred Andy Ruiz when he was 16.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, calls dropping in a lot of facts here that we didn't know. Drop another one for us. Where did that Opetaya Nika fight take place?
The Gold Coast Convention Center.
Ringside, Gold Coast Convention Center.
Why do they... Again, the only reason why I want to see another fight at the Gold Coast is because I want to hear the commentators say that every 2 seconds. We're here at the Gold Coast Convention Center. Like, we know where you are. Stop it. Why? Does he get paid every time he brings up the Gold Coast Convention Center? That's what I want to know.
I don't think he's visited the Gold Coast much. I think he gets excited when he gets to say the Gold Coast Convention Center.
He's not even there probably in person. He's doing it from a studio somewhere in California. He just has to... You know. But yeah, listen, the Benavidez thing versus Zurdo thing, that's what everyone's wondering. How is he gonna handle the weight? Now, all these sparring stories, like Carl was saying, they mean bupkas once you actually get in there. But it would be interesting. And if Benavidez beats Zurdo, oh man, the internet's gonna get light on fire. But then that's the other side of it's a double-edged sword, because okay, let's say he beats Zurdo. Now people are gonna say, why the fuck are you not gonna stay at cruiser? Why go back to 175? Fight Jay Opetaya. Why go down and fight smaller guys? So I don't know.
But if he goes the distance and wins, if he doesn't blow Zurdo out of the water, I don't want to hear about it, man. I don't want to hear about it. He'll put his tail between his legs and go back down to 75. If he blows Zurdo out of the water, he'd be crazy to go back down, man. Crazy. There's so much more for him to do at cruiser.
Well, yeah.
For me, man, I just want to see Opetaya and Benavidez. I just want to see them two fight.
Well, he's putting himself in a bad spot, right? Because like you guys are saying, if he doesn't look good and he goes back to 170 and 175 rounds and say like, yeah, I see you wasted your time, and like, what was the point of that? You should never been there in the first place. But then if he does whoop his ass and he blows him out of there like in 3 couple rounds, everyone's gonna be like, what are you doing? You look like you're a cherry picking bitch, going back down in weight to fight smaller guys when you can obviously, when you just beat a unified champion, right? Like this guy's, he's legit at 195. He's not just a contender around there, you know. He has 2 belts. So.
Exactly.
It's a great, excellent point. Yeah. So,
sorry, you go, BDA.
But people are gonna bring that up though. Oh, well, what about Bivol? He's a pound for pounder. Blah blah blah. Opetaya isn't.
Yeah, do we know for sure that Bivol's going to fight Benavidez?
I don't even know.
Because, with that, look, if Turkey's not there to back, because, this fight's on Amazon Prime, yeah? So this is under the PBC banner?
PBC and DAZN,
so
I believe.
Turkey, all right, so the only connection Turkey's got is with his stake in DAZN. So he won't be coughing up the loot. But what I'm saying is, does Turkey want that fight? Because I know Turkey wants the trilogy with Beterbiev and Bivol.
That's right, yeah.
But do we know that David's getting this fight with Bivol? And it took Bivol a hell of a long time to fight Beterbiev. Took him a hell of a long time. There was no way in the world. He was ducking Beterbiev for years. He was trying to age that.
Well, there was the WBC had ordered their fight, right? And that's supposedly how David got his belt. People dropped it, or whatever.
Yeah.
If he's not going anywhere in the weight class, if David stuck around, they would have seen each other, because Beeble's going to go for a belt when he comes back, whenever he comes back from his back surgery or whatever. And he'll probably be more vulnerable at that point, because he'll just be coming back from back surgery. So, it's just an advantage for Benavidez. I don't know why he wouldn't just go for it.
I don't understand what's going on. They keep mentioning that Turkey wants the Bivol.
The PBC shit, man.
They keep mentioning that the Turk wants the Bivol versus Beterbiev trilogy, and I'm thinking, why? First of all, like you said, Bivol coming off of back surgery, Beterbiev just got injured. That's why his fight didn't happen last year, I believe. What? Right? It was late last year, or was it? No, this year.
He was
this
on the
year.
under,
Yeah, it was supposed.
no, he was on the undercard of Benavidez and Yard.
Oh, okay,
He was
yeah,
supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's and it's been 4 or 5 months since then, right? So, So again, it's ridiculous, ludicrous to still talk about Beterbiev Bivol. Beterbiev is old now. On top of that, older, 41, right? 40, 41. So, move on from that, man.
Yep.
If Benavidez does move back down to 175, and if he beats Zurdo, obviously, then that's the fight to make. Bivol, forget about Beterbiev. Yeah, he probably still is dangerous at his age, but who really wants to watch a guy who's 41? No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But yeah, so that's May the 2nd, Las Vegas, the zone pay-per-view, Zurdo versus Benavidez. The undercard is also Jose Armando Resendiz versus Jaime Munguia. That one should be good. And you have Oscar Duarte jumping in against Angel Fierro, who gave Isaac Cruz a very good fight a couple of, 2 years ago or thereabouts. So, interesting undercard.
Do you want to know the funniest? I saw the funniest comment. I don't know where I was, on what channel, but someone put a poll up. And I saw this idiot comment. It was on Batman Boxing, actually. It was one of his polls.
Shout out to Batman.
Some idiot put a comment on there and said, why aren't there any black guys fighting on this card? And I went, I couldn't help myself. I had to put a comment in there. I said, do you realize how stupid that fucking comment you just said sounds? And I just left it at that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Afro Anglos concentrated in lightweight, junior welterweight, but that's about it.
There's no one above.
It's like asking for a Mexican heavyweight. There's Luis, maybe Arreola still around. That's it. You're not gonna certain divisions that certain. Yeah.
It's kind of like I've been to a couple of channels because I'm a bit of a panel whore. I go to a lot of fucking panels and talk my shit. I love talking my shit, especially when it comes to Joy. I love talking my shit about Joy. Anyway, I had this fucking idiot, these idiots telling me about the cruiserweight and about how Bradis is nothing. And I said, if you were from any other country other than America, I'd fucking listen to what you got to say. But you haven't had anyone of fucking relevance above fucking 175 for God knows how fucking long.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so just pipe down, you fucking church mouse. Let me talk. I just thought, like, a guy telling me that Bradis was a bum at 37. I'm like, okay, mate, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Like, you just told me everything I need to know.
Well, it's like when you bring to certain people up the fact that, like, I don't watch the lower weights. Why not? Because they're not that skilled. They're too little. And it's like, okay, well, tell me the guys that you've watched, and you say, okay, the little guys that you've watched, and say that's not skilled. Well, I don't watch them because they're not skilled. It's like, it's circular logic. They already got it in their mind. They just don't want to fight they just don't want to watch smaller guys because they don't know who they are and they don't know where to watch these fights. And it's which, by the way, there's
a lot of other countries, namely Japan, Uzbekistan, they tend to rule those divisions. So. And of course Mexicans. So,
well, look.
It's just comedy genius for me. It's just the gift that keeps on fucking giving on this YouTube. I love it.
A lot of people don't even pay to watch these fights anymore. Now with the internet and the Fire Stick and all that, there's no excuse to not watch certain fights because you can watch them all now. You get it all, baby.
Oh, you go to Sober's VIP streams. There could be fucking 4 fights. Is that right? We had 4 fights going at once.
And by the way, I heard there was UFC.
Something
there was UFC this Saturday, right?
I believe so. Yes.
What do you mean you believe so? You were watching it. I know you for a fact you were watching it.
Yeah.
There was a guy in the weigh-in. I saw that on Twitter, where he pretended like he was gonna shake the guy's hands, and then he tried to go for it, like he flinched.
It was an Israeli and a Palestinian.
Who won?
I think the Palestinian.
Is that right? Well.
And then this dude who faked the handshake the first time, he tries to go for a real like dap up after the fight, and the guy goes like he blows him off like nah fuck you, and then the guy gets pissed off and he pushes him in the face, like he mushes him,
Well, what do they say? What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
No, I'm saying the guy who faked the he faked the handshake. He ended up mushing the guy after he got, after the guy turned him down. Like, he's just like a scumbag all the way,
Yeah. I mean, I got to see that, man. I got to try to catch a clip of that. Shout out to, hold on a second. Where are my pages here? I'm all over the place. Shout out to, hit the like. Yeah, well, hit the like while you're at it, by the way. Hit the like. Shout out to Real Talk Combat. Shout out to Real Talk Combat for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to him. He says, anyone noticed Benavidez only started saying Beterbiev's name only after he turned 41 and is still saving him for after Zurdo and Bivol 1 year later? Did he just recently started mentioning that, right? Or because I don't recall him mentioning Beterbiev too much. It was Bivol, rightly so, because Bivol had all the belts.
At least fucking Beterbiev, the 41-year-old, can make the list. My guy can't even make the fucking list.
Well, that's the thing. Remember when Jose Benavidez Senior goes, well, Opetaya, he's not ready. He gets hurt every fight. Like, every fight. Every fight he gets. Did he get hurt against Thompson? Did he get hurt against this last dude that he fought, Glanton? I mean, I don't know.
I love it. I remember you sent me the message, he needs another 4 years. And I wrote back, how to say you're not in fear of your son's life without saying you're in fear of your son's life.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. He's very good. Hold on a second. He's very good. What's his name? Benavidez. We all know it. But this thing there about I like David Benavidez. I like his style. What I don't like is the people around him. Samson Lukowicz, he has a good eye for talent, but let's face the facts. And I know people don't like hearing this, but the whole Canelo debacle had a lot to do with Samson Lukowicz or somebody around Benavidez's camp coming up with these fake offers and asking for TV rights and stuff like that. Then you got the father saying, Opetaya is not ready. Maybe in 4 years, like 4 years, the guy's 31. Like, what is Benavidez's schedule that busy for 4 years? Like what? There's Bivol, there's Beterbiev, and then who? Canelo. They're still talking about that pipe dream. I mean, come on, it's Opetaya, Zurdo, Beterbiev, Bivol, one of those guys. That's not a 4 or 5 year schedule. So I don't know what's going on there. But shout out to Real Talk Combat for his contribution with the super chat.
That is a good comment. And mate, I'm not a hater of Benavidez. I love watching the guy fight. Absolutely love watching the guy fight. All action fighter, man. Everything I stand for, that guy, how he fights. But for the life of me, I just wish, why is he pissing around up at cruiserweight when he's got work to do down at light heavyweight, man? Like, it just fucks up the cruiserweight division, man. Jai and Zurdo could have got it on.
Yeah,
now I'm just hoping and praying that Mauricio Suleiman likes the colour of Zuffa's money and he'll allow that belt to Mikhailian to get his head knocked off by Opetaya. So Jai can have that WBC belt and wave that around. Because, I mean, with Jai's activity, man, Mauricio would love nothing better than getting sanctioning fees paid 3 times a year, let alone trying to chase Bud Crawford for one.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Hey, that's a good transition point there. That you just brought up there. But hold on, I'm trying to set something up here. Anyway, it's not working out. But you just brought that up there, the titles. And people are still infatuated with the title. Again, in a perfect world, and this is I know it's a theoretical thing here, but in a perfect world, people should just say, screw the sanctioning bodies because they really have been ruining things for a while. But the reality is very different. Promoters and TV networks, they rely on the belts because that's how they attract people, right? You put on the marquee, championship fight, world championship fight. And so that attracts most people, especially certain casuals. But, there's a myriad of reasons why we should get rid of the sanctioning bodies. However, that, like I said, that's a bit of a pipe dream. And that is because the fighters, they're the problem too. They're obsessed with the belts. Check out what Roy Jones had to say. And I'm not saying he's wrong. But he's really giving the mentality of fighters and how they're still infatuated with those sanctioning belts. Check this out.
The Zuffa belt that's not going to allow you to become undisputed champion. It's not for you because undisputed champion goes years beyond that Zuffa belt. And that Zuffa belt ain't going to mean the same because, like I said, if he don't like you, he ain't got to even rank you as a Zuffa belt. You have no chance. If that takes everything else out the way, and he don't like you, you're never gonna be world champion. If you don't like your manager, your promoter, you're never gonna be world champion. No, that's not fair.
Yeah, and I think that's what's been the topic now. It's like, look what you got yourself into now.
Of course it is. Look, that's exactly right. Look what you signed up for. You didn't know it, but look what you signed up for. Who cares about it?
So, he's right in a way. Like the Zuffa belt, who cares about the Zuffa belt? It's supposed to be some sort of symbolic trinket there that they give you. But how is that going to work? Like if a guy leaves Zuffa, do they take the belt? Is it like professional wrestling where you leave the belt when you go from WWF to WCW? It's like, I don't get it. I don't get that. But what Roy Jones said there, though, that undisputed. Who cares about gathering 4 belts? Why again? It's the media pushed that whole thing of undisputed and the 4 belt era. Oh, I gotta have all 4 belts. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Lester Martinez, when he got announced the winner in that fight against Aleem, he dropped to his knees, grabbing that interim belt, the WBC, which has been getting very bad press recently, and he's hugging that thing like it's his son or something, like it's his progeny, and he's almost crying. And I'm thinking, boy, oh boy, these people are hypnotized. They're brainwashed. That's why we try to do the BDA Ultra deprogramming here, to try to deprogram people from the brainwashing that they've had for decades. But I mean, it's difficult to do because you got to pin these people down and really tell them, hey, fucko, these sanctioning bodies, look at what they did to Opetaya, or what they tried to do to him a couple of weeks ago.
Isn't that amazing that the IBF still haven't made a decision about that? Where normally they would just take that belt, man. The IBF don't play. The IBF don't play. See, the thing where Jai's got him on toast, man, is he did the IBF rehydration. He did everything to the IBF's wishes, man, like he's done the last 6 times. I don't know. He's the most active IBF champion alive today. I don't know, man. For the life of me, these belts, man, they yeah, of course they mean something. Everyone wants to be world champion, mate. That's what you fight. What you fight for is to be the champion of the world. But at the end of the day, man, I just want to see the best fight the best. And for some reason, man, these belts, we just seem to hear excuses as to why they don't get these fights and why these, sanctioning bodies won't play ball. But I mean, the WBC, mate, they just love the colour of money. I mean, I've never heard Mauricio Suleiman so vocal about the financial situation of the WBC in the last 12 months than I've ever heard since I've been on YouTube.
Are you saying?
And he's always.
Are you saying his Semitic? Are you saying his Semitic side is starting to come out? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think the side that he's starting to show is the side that he's susceptible to the brown paper bag, mate. He's got brown paper bag-itis. And if you're happy to if you're happy to pay that money, man, the world is your oyster.
I'm just surprised that all these people that were up in arms defending Terence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson, woe is them, the evil WBC, which I agree with, but where are these people defending Opetaya against the IBF? Some of these people just forget about that. So all of a sudden they're back in business. Like, oh yeah, the alphabet belt, undisputed. They keep saying they keep criticizing Virgil Ortiz on Twitter for not having a belt. It's like, who cares about that?
Let me throw a promotional company in there. So Matchroom had Jai for over 3 years. What did they do for him? How many unification fights did Eddie get him?
That's a good point. Well, that's what Opetaya said about Eddie Hearn.
0. Yeah, he's not his mate. he's not his mate. So I mean, Jai's just gone somewhere where he thinks he might be able to get some belts. And mate, if he can't get the belts there, then he'll probably fuck off from Zuffa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm just glad that his name is now more of a household name since Jai's gone into this camp, signed with Zuffa, gone into camp and fought Brandon Glanton. I've never heard this guy's name spread more in the last 6-7 weeks than I have in 7 years.
Yeah, but that's why I said Opetaya. I'm surprised that he's not a big name in Australia. He should be. He's a hard puncher. He's got skills. He's got potential to be a top 10 pound for pounder. Why? I mean, how do you miss that? Like, how do you not turn that guy into a star? Is boxing that bad off that you can't turn that guy into at least a recognizable name? It's bizarre.
It's ranked 16th, bro, of our most watched sports. Boxing is number 16. It's gone. It's off. And man, it used to be right up there. Boxing used to be like 3, 4, 5 for years. When we had the likes of Jeff Fennick and Costa Zoo,
mm-hmm.
It was boxing was pumping. But we've gone through a bit of a lull where, we've had champions come in, and Kambosos has made a bit of a name for himself. But Jai's getting all this airplay in America. People in Australia are starting to go, oh, that's that Aussie guy.
Oh,
But
good.
for the life of me, man, I don't know. But Tim Zoo's got tenfold the following of Jai Pattaya, and for the life of me, I can't work out why, man.
Well, he did get a bit of a head start there with on Opetaya fighting bigger or relatively bigger names, but yeah, hopefully Opetaya. I mean, he's got to keep fighting. He's got to keep winning. That's the most important thing. But speaking of boxing, not doing well, whatever. Well, I tell you what, the Zone is starting to fight back. The Empire Strikes Back against Zuffa TKO because came out a couple of days ago via Abraham Gonzalez. He broke the news. Golden Boy Promotions has signed an extension with the Zone, making the streaming company truly the home of boxing. So I don't know exactly understand what that entails. An extension. Apparently, it's non-exclusive. So Golden Boy can continue to hold fights on other platforms, such as the one they're doing here with Zurdo and Benavidez on the Zone/Amazon. But it's. I mean, now they've finally gotten to some sort of understanding. In fact, Mirigian, I don't know how you pronounce his name, Ortiz's manager. Apparently, he deleted his tweets and then deleted his Twitter account. So it's almost as
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what. And it came in around the time of this news, when this news story broke that the Zone is signed an extension deal with Golden Boy Promotion. So maybe Meridian, I don't know, maybe he feels like that was a slap to his face, or that he got egg on his face. Because again, this whole Virgil Ortiz, him leaving Golden Boy depended on Golden Boy not having a network to put the fights on. But now they are.
Not only that.
Yeah.
Not only that, BDA. See, Virgil and Rick Meridian. Well, Rick Meridian, namely, he was given an offer by Eddie Hearn. Mate, you can't tell me Eddie Hearn doesn't know that Oscar would have known the ins and outs of the contract. And to throw an offer like $16 million to Virgil for a 3-fight deal or something, like whatever it was, man. Like Eddie's a fucking spineless, gutless, silver spoon, snake in this as well, man. Like, it takes two to tango with negotiations, man. So, and then Eddie crying, like his bleeding heart, crying about Conor Benn signing a 1-fight deal with Zuffa, and Eddie's like, he didn't even call me.
Well,
and I'm like, but you were just a snake in the grass to Virgil Ortiz and Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm wondering, did that balance the deal? Eddie couldn't get the deal with Virgil. So we're going to have to put Golden Boy back on the network.
Yeah,
because man, they were going fight by fight since the 31st of December 2025. So we're nearly at the end of March, and they've just got their deal done. So and we're just getting all this shit come out about Oscar won the appeal, and it's just funny how shit falls into place when you look at it, man. So. I don't know. Did Eddie have a hand in all this Virgil bullshit by trying to undercut Oscar and take his fighter out from underneath his nose? I don't know, man. That might be the tin hat coming out in me. But I just think for Rick to have wanted to jump ship, man, there had to have been an offer, and whatever they were floating around, it came from Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, who knows what's going on there? I mean, Eddie Hearn, some people could say, well, he did try to. He's trying to help out Virgil Ortiz, giving him a good payday, which, I mean, again, really, you want to attribute good intentions to promoters. But I will say this, man. They asked Regis Prograis, who will be fighting Conor Benn, about that whole situation between Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn. And Regis Prograis said he doesn't have a whole lot of sympathy for Eddie Hearn. He said that fighters are in it for the bag, the dollar. They're not going to be loyal to a promoter. Just like a promoter is not necessarily going to be loyal to the fighter. Now, some people can say, well, Eddie Hearn did lend Conor Benn money when Conor Benn was in dire straits. And I'm thinking, yeah, but that's because Eddie Hearn has something to win with Conor Benn. I don't know. I don't necessarily think he did it out of the goodness of his heart. And so this is what Regis Prograis had to say. He said, Eddie's going to be fine. That's the thing. I can't say I have sympathy for Eddie. Eddie's living very good. He's the son of a legendary promoter, Barry. And he's living very good, he said. I can't say I have sympathy for Eddie. Now, I can have a little sympathy, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, poor Eddie Hearn, the bleeding heart. I mean, come on. It's a cutthroat business. He knows it. And if he did get so attached to Conor Benn, well, that's on him, man. But again, I don't really buy this whole story of I'm devastated. I'm devastated. It's like, come, get the fuck out. You weren't sitting in a fucking bathtub in a hotel room just crying your eyes out. And by the way, this is all going to be very stupid when Conor Benn goes back to Eddie Hearn after this 1-fight deal. That's probably what's
Exactly.
going to happen. And Eddie Hearn smells, again, he's a businessman. It's all about money. He's going to say, listen, all is forgiven. And that's it. But apparently,
You know what, BDA? I think a lot of these guys that are in negotiations with Zuffa, and that's why we haven't heard much movement from Zuffa in the since the Jai fight, is I think a lot of fighters are waiting to see how the IBF situation plays out, because I know Bitchins is, because he was due to sign with Zuffa, and he came out publicly and said he's not sure if he's going to, if the IBF are going to strip him. So, that's still in the back of a lot of fighters' minds, that there's a reason they're not going to jump. They're not just going to jump for the money. It's because they're going to be stripped. So world champions are going to, they're going to have to suck it and see what happens with Jai, because Jai's pretty much the guinea pig, mate, isn't he? He's the first Zuffa champion. He's kind of been the lamb at the slaughter in all of this. So everyone's sitting back to see what happens with Jai, and then I think they'll play it by ear with that. So that's why we haven't heard Zuffa come out with any major signings. When Dana White's been jumping up and down saying that he's going to sign everybody, and I'm like, well, where are they, mate? Where are they?
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, they got the checkbook with Turkey Al-Sheikh there, so who knows what type of moves they're gonna make? Who knows if they're gonna keep spending the big bucks that they're doing? It's just interesting though, because when they signed Conor Benn again, I thought, oh, okay, $10 million is probably gonna be a big fight, and then it turns out to be Regis Prograis. So it seems like they're just following the playbook that other people
Terrible addition to the roster. Terrible matchup.
I've never been a Conor. You know what I honestly thought? I honestly thought that they'd take Conor Benn to England, and they'd get a Rolly Romero or a Barrios or even Ryan Garcia, if they could have got him to England to pack a stadium out, because I think Conor can do that, man. I think after that, living off that win against Eubank Jr., mate, the Brits will lap that shit up. They'll chock a stadium. Tottenham Hotspur will be fucking packed to the rafters, screaming.
Who was no one? I don't think anyone was under the impression that Conor Benn was going to be a world champion at any point. You know what I'm saying? He was looking good. You know what I mean? But then, that was like, he was looking excellent, if you know what I mean. And then he had that little situation, his little situation with the eggs and shit. So after that, his power disappeared or whatever. He looked good because he knocked out Chris Algieri. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro. But I don't think anyone ever thought he was gonna be world champion or anything. So like, spend that much money just to give him 5 Regis Prograis, that's hard.
I've just never been that high on him. He's never been a world champion. He's another one of these fighters that, the only reason we pay attention to him is because his father was a champion. His father was an absolute legend. And some of these sons, well, most of these sons, let's be honest, they don't live up to the household name. And I think Conor Benn's one of them, man. I don't see what other people see in him. Like, people are saying he'll kill Devin Haney, and I just don't see. He just doesn't have that skill.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what they got to do. Because, I mean, Sufan, they have the next card is going to be Andres Cortez in the main event. And I don't know if people have seen that dude. He used to fight on Top Rank. He's undefeated, but he's already like 28, 29. So I guess Top Rank decided to sort of cut him. I don't know if they cut him. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's no longer with them because he's fighting on Sufan. But this dude is entertaining. He's got skills and he's heavy-handed. So those are the type of guys that they get to start putting on these Sufa events. And again, Sufa, they're trying to go down the pro box route where they're putting on bargain fights, but that are quality fights, but for bargain prices. And that's what they got to start doing, man, because again, they push guys like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, and they get the ratings. Yeah, because you push these guys so long, and the American public, like what Repet always used to say, like, they like the shirtless athletes and all that. And they look at these dudes and they go, oh, yeah, man, these guys they're still stuck in the Mayweather era. But if you really want to revamp boxing, one of the things you got to do is you got to start putting entertaining fighters in the main event. Watch something tells me the ratings are going to start improving if you start doing that. But the thing is, that's what they got to do. Now, Eddie Hearn and, I mean, think about what DAZN has now. DAZN has Matchroom under their umbrella, Queensberry, they have Top Rank, and now they got Golden Boy. That is...
No excuse.
No
excuse.
There shouldn't be, right?
BDA. No excuse, man. There's no excuse why we can't have these fights now. Brilliant. The home of boxing. Bring it on. I'm
Well,
just glad
they're trying to
everyone's.
make a coalition against Zuffa, right?
Exactly.
Of course they are. Well, if you look at, I'm not sure, was it Dan Raphael or someone broke the news of an email that went around to all the promoters and all the sanctioning bodies
Yeah.
to try and freeze out Zuffa, right?
Uh-huh.
And someone gave Dan Raphael that message via email, a link to an email from a phone number that he didn't know, whatever his story was. And it says that there was a bit of collusion going on there, man, which there should not be collusion, fellas. If we got this integral sport that, all these sanctioning bodies that we hold so dearly and we sleep with these belts and we hug them and we cry in the middle of the ring, like, let's hold these pricks accountable too, Like, it's not just a boys' club, man. It's the case of the best fighting the best. And, people seem to forget that Turkey actually owns fucking Turkey Sporting Company, whatever it's called, TKD Holdings. They own 13% of DAZN. They own 13%, which is 1/8 of that company. So they've got a finger in all of DAZN's pie. They got the darts, they got the snook, the billiards, they got the boxing. Like, Turkey brought out some $500,000 prize for the 8-ball. It's some way of sinking all the balls. If you do it in one go without missing a shot, you get an extra $500,000.
Oh, he loves that, doesn't he?
Oh, but Sobers, like,
He
that
wants you to
type of
see
prize
if
money.
falls out in one go.
These guys have never made that much money in one fucking calendar year, let alone one game of pool. They all want to do it, man. So they're happy Turkey's in there. So, on one hand, they're biting the hand that feeds them by trying to isolate Zuffa. And Frank Warren's talking this, $1 billion lawsuit for lost revenue because he's been frozen out. He was holding fucking Turkey's hand fucking 9 months ago. But anyway, that's all changed now. Shit's gone pear-shaped. I just want to see how it plays out, man. I'm looking forward to the next 12 months, 2 years. Because these guys have the money. And it's funny, in the sport that's so lucrative and run by snakes and cockroaches, there's one thing that they all love. They all love money. That's what it's all about, mate. At the end of the day, the business is the one-stop shop in boxing. And when you're talking guys like Zuffa that have got $500 million deal, 5-year deal with Paramount Plus, man, that's $7.99 Australian a month. It's about $5 American I pay to watch this boxing every month, man.
Yeah,
what?
it's
Only an idiot. You'd be an idiot not to do that, man.
Well, I mean, this whole fucking DAZN Ultimate Package thing, which $500, and now that they've got all this, they've consolidated all these major top promotions under their umbrella. You could say, okay, maybe, but now they're gonna make the quality fights, and that's the big question: are they gonna make the big fights without Turkey Al Sheikh, their sugar daddy, providing the money? Now are we gonna go back to same old, where we want, my fighter wants 10 million to take a risk, and that's the thing. The good news is that apparently Xander Zayas is pushing for a Jaron Ennis fight, and they're negotiating right now, and apparently it's looking good. Now, that's a good fight.
But see, one of these $500 a year with this fucking DAZN app, Chisora and Wilder is one of those fights. Like, the thing is, man, is there's not enough pay-per-views that are pay-per-view worthy to have to pay that sort of fee once a month, man. I'm sorry, but it's not worth it. It's not worth $500 a year.
And that's the thing.
You can't tell me there's 12 pay-per-view worthy fights in one calendar year, man. We're lucky to get 2 or 3.
And Zuffa TKO, they're putting on about, what is it, 2 cards per month so far, or 1 per month? Or no more than that, right?
About one a month, yeah. So just over a month, yeah. Every 3 to 4 weeks they're running them, so...
And right now, okay, the fights aren't the zone level. We're not seeing the big names, the big top 10 pound names. But like I said, they're showing you that they got good matchmaking over there. Because so far, most of the fights have been entertaining. And
not only that, BDA with the frequency they've got, and they've got the time slots for, I think it's 40 slots a year on Paramount Plus. They can have 40 slots a year, man. So that if they wanted to, they could have cards every weekend. And, mate, once they get going and they get moving and they start to build this stable and a roster of fighters, we're going to see these young guys, man, that aren't household names that are going to be fighting 3 and 4 times a year. And they're going to soon become household names, man. That's what I hope we get out of it, man. That's what I forecast that I think we can get out of someone like Zuffa, man. Guys like that aren't household names. Guys like on Pro Box, man. Like, I love what Pro Box is doing, bro. It's free on YouTube. Fucking brilliant. And I put in the chat before, like, Pro Box revived fucking Angelo Leo's career, bro. Angelo Leo was in a lull, mate, where we didn't know what the fuck Angelo Leo was doing, and comes back, has a great win, and then goes and gets a fucking belt.
That's right. Yeah, you
like,
know.
How can you shit on Pro Box, man?
Yep, provide more opportunities in these fighters. Then again, that's the other problem with boxing nowadays is these top dudes, they get paid between 3 to 5 million or more per fight. So they figure, oh, now I just got to fight once or twice per year. We don't see them that often anymore. They don't want to fight that more often because, you know, like I said, they're getting paid good money just to fight twice a year. They're getting lazy.
Stop charging it for every fight, BDA. Stop trying to fucking empty our pockets for every fight, mate, because you're not going to do that. It's just you can't generate that type of money out of the public, man. It's not a good business model, man. Because
I'm really liking the Zuffa and the rest of boxing beef, because what it's going to do is it's going to drive competition. These guys are going to try to put on better shows than each other. Dana White's like a competitive gambler. The way he talks about the other promoters and shit, I can tell he's really excited and he wants to compete. He wants to beat them. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be good for boxing. The matchups that they're doing at Zuffa, they're putting a lot of Chicanos in there. They're looking for a lot of action fighters, so it's interesting to see what the matchups like. The differences they're going to be putting on the shows. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, they're going.
And you know what I love? Sorry, BDA. What I love too is like hearing the likes of Bob Arum, you know, the Jew that turns up to football games to watch the coin toss. I just think it's funny how guys like that called the zone dead zone, and now all of a sudden he's under that, he's under their banner. Yeah, it's funny how some people are just walking contradictions.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because they didn't have the foresight to see that the internet was the future. They were still stuck on the cable TV world, cable and satellite TV. So, oh, this is where it's at. You're fighting on an app. Who's gonna watch? But meanwhile, you already had these. By the late 2010s, you already have fucking superstars on YouTube. You know, these people that stream on YouTube and they get millions of views. Meanwhile, you got people on Fox News and they can't even break. They struggle to break 1 million views, and they got a corporate machine behind them. I mean, I'm telling you, some of these older guys missed the mark with that. So yeah, now all of them are on apps. I mean, fucking PBC too. They also were talking about DAZN, and now they're on app. They're streaming on an app, Amazon. So I mean,
and they're flat out filling 5 time slots a year.
Exactly, if that.
Hey, and the last couple of years, Tim Zoo has done a lot of the legwork for the PBC.
Exactly,
he has done a lot of.
Well, listen, we covered everything here. This concludes the morning episode, the BDA Boxing morning episode. Shout out to everybody. Oh, Foo's back. Foo.
Hell, I came back.
Did you do it on purpose or what happened?
I'm on the road. But no, I came back and now you end the show. What the hell?
Did you get, you had to go to get your Stewart's coffee cup, huh? The large one.
I got a Dunkin' Donuts coffee this time.
I hear that one's pretty good, right?
Yeah, they are right. I like them more than Starbucks. Starbucks is disgusting.
I mean, if you like cream and a bunch of fucking stuff, I don't know what else they put in there. I've never had Starbucks coffee ever.
The coffee, I used to drink it a lot, and then I realized I hate it. Like I drink coffee with just like regular, no sugar, just a tiny bit of cream in it, and their stuff's like it's terrible. It's terrible. Like I guess they make it really bitter because everybody puts sugar and caramel and all this other shit in there.
Exactly.
So sorry for cutting. Yeah, I don't do that. So the coffee is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what the point. I mean, again, if people enjoy what they enjoy, but I can't see myself paying, however amount of money it is for the Starbucks coffee, and it's filled with sugar, so it kind of contravenes or it actually counteracts the caffeine effect. I mean, give me a nice cup of green tea, black tea, whatever. That's all I need, and every once in a while a cup of coffee, regular coffee. But that's the other thing. I drank 2 cups of coffee. I woke up at 6 a.m. yesterday, just like today. Drank 2 cups of
You
coffee.
haven't slept since, huh?
No. Well,
Oh,
yeah, that's the
sorry.
thing. That's the thing. I drank 2 cups of coffee and I was jacked for the rest of the day. So,
I think if people get jacked off coffee, they've never tried drugs in their life.
I
To me,
haven't.
that's
I haven't. That's the thing. Huh?
that's okay.
I'm just
Okay,
jacked
'cause
all the time.
That's anyway, BDA, I'm going to let you go, man. Thanks for letting me on, bro.
Well, thank you guys for jumping in. Shout out to Fu. Shout out to Carl. Shout out to Sobers for
care.
jumping in on this morning edition of the BD Boxing Podcast. Hopefully, people enjoyed it. And yeah, man, we'll try to be back because we got to cover too. There's boxing going on this weekend. This past weekend, we had a little. Yes, we had a little something to tide us over this past weekend, but this one we're back to 2 events. 2 events. So we've got.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to this one. Again, we're gonna try to do another show this week to cover that, to preview it properly. But we got from Manchester, England, via DAZN, we got Moses Aitauma versus Jermaine Franklin Jr. It's a solid test. A solid test.
Oh, it's happening? I thought that was, is this the rescheduled fight?
Yes, it's the rescheduled version.
All right. Oh, nice.
The undercard ain't that bad either. And then later on that day, from Las Vegas, Nevada, via Prime Video pay-per-view, we got Sebastian Fundora taking on Keith, one-time Thurman. We got Ioannis Teyes in the undercard taking on Brian Mendoza.
Oh, wait, that's this Saturday?
That's right, yes.
What the? I didn't even realize it was happening now.
2 solid events.
That fight kept getting kicked back. I was thinking like, wow, is that ever going to happen? And now it's actually happening. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, man. I'm thinking, well, is this fight destined not to happen? Well, I mean, hey, listen, we still got about 7 or 6 days. How many days? Yeah, 6 days to go. So cross your fingers, hope nothing happens. Knock on wood. And
Fundora's going to slip in a one of those booths in New York Times Square in the 70s.
He's going to be walking through a door frame, and he's going to be too tall. He's going to hit himself in the head on the door frame. He's going to get knocked down, and the fight's over.
Yep.
Yoeli Hernandez taking on Terrell Gaucher. I'm excited. I mean, it's not the best matchup, but hey, I want to see how Hernandez looks. Teyes versus Brian Mendoza. Something tells me Mendoza's going to be moving back, but he can crack, just as Sebastian Fundora, so that should be an interesting one too as well. Again, we're going to talk about all of that plus more in a following episode. But for the moment, just letting people know that that's what we've got this weekend. And is there anything else? No, those are the 2 events. The only negative side of this fucking Fundora tournament thing is that it's pay-per-view. It is not a pay-per-view worthy card, but
And that's how they do it in boxing.
Absolutely. I know.
And then they're surprised when it doesn't get viewership or people, pirate it.
Yeah, they're aghast. Like, oh my God, how could people do that? Well, I mean, you're putting on something that on pay-per-view that shouldn't be on pay-per-view. But hey, it is what it is.
I mean, it also depends on the price. Like, how much does it cost?
I forgot.
You know.
Hold on, let me see. Amazon pay-per-view.
I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like $50, $60, somewhere around there.
Well,
who knows? Maybe even higher.
For me, I think I it's on DAZN too. I think, but it's okay. If I don't get it on DAZN, I gotta get it here in Canada on payperview.com, and that is $74.99. But
you see, that's too much to ask for that.
Yeah,
that's really where they mess up. Like if you made these cards like $20, yeah, people would just throw that down like now without a thought. But when you start getting $70, approaching $80. Now, if it was stacked, then that'd be a different story. But I just don't see it. I don't think it's gonna do that well.
Of course not. They're never gonna release the numbers for this one. And I don't see that on DAZN. I thought it was gonna be on the. Oh no, excuse me, because I'm confused. I'm confusing the Benavidez Surdo. That's on DAZN and Amazon pay-per-view, but this one is just Amazon pay-per-view. So yeah, it's here in Canada. It's $74.99, but on top of that, you gotta pay service fees or whatever. So it probably does come around at $100 to watch this fight.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's too much.
I mean, for Fundora Thurman, a guy who's had 2 fights total since 2022, and the undercard is a bunch. I mean, it's a free DAZN level type card, man. But they're putting on pay-per-view, so I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know. Be that as it may, we do have to go. Shout out to Fu, shout out to Sobers, shout out to Carl earlier for jumping in too. Really appreciate you guys jumping on. And everybody out there too. Shout out to everybody who donated the super chat. Shout out to people in the chat. Jazz in the chat says, only dumbass old farts pay. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's what people keep saying.
Seriously, yeah, they better squeeze money out of Netflix and shit. They need to talk them out of money.
Exactly.
That's how you keep the sport alive, by not giving anything to it.
All right, there you go. Opposing viewpoints. Shout
It's
out
like,
to,
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
yeah, nobody pay for anything, and they'll
Turkey
hold.
will pay for all
No,
of it.
no,
Don't
no.
worry,
They
everyone.
get these overinflated paychecks need to go down. Dana White is going to make these fighters hungry. He's going to keep them working. He's going to keep steady fights happening. He's going to make interesting matchups. You know what I'm saying? The matchups they've been doing already have been good. You know what I mean? They haven't been anybody you really heard of. I mean, every now and then, right? Like Gvozdyk and Gvozdyk, that was a good fight. You know what I mean? They're going to be looking for these middling guys that maybe aren't at the top of the bill, but you match them up properly and you get a real good fight out of it. So that's what I like. That's what I really like that they're doing. I see that a lot. I see that consistently in their cards. You know, they're matching up guys properly. Like, you know, they have
I like that. What I've seen.
guys like they'll have multiple undefeated fighters face each other on a card, or guys that have like one loss each.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like the fact that they're, again, go back to entertaining fights, enforce the rules, and stop overpaying these overrated fighters. Shout out to We Fight All Night TV, Kay Brizin, Baron Nivola, talking about all the people that joined us here. Who else we had? We had Carl still in the chat. Shout out to him, keeping an eye on things. The AI underdog pick, Kay Brizin. Who else we have in here?
Oh, this is a good song.
That's right. Grim Reaper, like I said, Marty McSly, Adam Hurley, Al Cuerpo, Aquaflow. Who else we had in here? Pancho Villa, shout out to him. Real Talk Combat, Team Batman Boxing. And if I forgot anybody else, it's because we do have to go. But shout out to all of you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Have a good rest of your day. You gotta go. Whoa.
Smooth.